genre and we take it there. Connor, feel the rush, hear the roar. From combos to lore, we're never a bore. Every punch, every clash, every spark in the night. We live for the game, we love this fight. Kombat, where the real ones unite. MK to Marvel, we ride with the hype. Podcast kings, we bring truth and light. One frame at a time, we love this fight. Joystick dreams, arcade nights. We grew up scrapping under neon lights. From rage quits to handshake wins. It's all FGC and Conquer begins. Feel the rush, hear the roar. From combos to lore, we're never a bore. Every punch, every clash, every spark in the night. We live for the game, we love this fight. This is more than just casting. It's a legacy built of Vincent Velastin. For the block, for the parry, for the ones who trade. Conquered reigns supreme in the fighting game lane. Pick up the sticks, let's run that set. But the pro in the chat getting real upset. Talking about frames, talking about tech. Bro, just play, why you so stressed? Moving like a bot, trying to flex. Crying about lag, what's next? Saying GG, but you mad inside. Controller slamming, hurting your pride. Oh, only pros be tripping. Acting like the game got them glitching. Sweating hard, losing fast. Then they blame the netcode, man, that's sad. Casuals chill, we just vibe. Pro dude mad, veins alive. Took an L, now we ranting online. Game is dead, nah bro, you just blind. Alt tab, uninstall, block the chat. Said it's broken, but we know it's capped. Maybe next time, just have some fun. Cause only pros cry when the match is done. Turn it up, oh, only pros be tripping. Acting like the game got them glitching. Sweating hard, losing fast. Then they blame the netcode, man, that's sad. Oh, only pros be tripping, acting like the game got them glitching. Sweating hard, losing fast. Then they blame the netcode, man, that's sad. Yo, it's just a game, my guy. Take a deep breath, maybe touch some grass. Casuals chill, we just vibe. Pro dude mad, veins alive. Took an L, now we ranting online. Game is dead, nah bro, you just blind. Alt tab, uninstall, block the chat. Said it's broken, but we know it's capped. Maybe next time, just have some fun. Cause only pros cry when the match is done. Turn it up, oh, only pros be tripping. Acting like the game got them glitching. Sweating hard, losing fast. Then they blame the netcode, man, that's sad. Oh, only pros be tripping, acting like the game got them glitching. Sweating hard, losing fast. Then they blame the netcode, man, that's sad. Yeah, it's just a game, my guy. Take a deep breath, maybe touch some grass.
All right, had to turn the camera on then. It was off for whatever reason. There you go. Doing another stream today. Everyone's been spoiled, right, by the bald fraud, as is said in my diss track called Fate's Fading. And you just heard the only pros be tripping. And we are going to have a very special guest. He is the Jack Reacher of my actual Discord. This is Dragoon. So let's get, hopefully we'll be able to hear him speak. Can we hear him? Hang on, let me check. Let me double check. Make sure everything's working. Don't think I can hear him. Maybe he's... No. I can't hear him. Can't hear him. Oh, hang on. Wait a sec. Hang on. I think I know. Hang on. We're all figuring this out in real time. No, his volume's up. There we go. There we go. Nicely. I'll drag it. I'll bring it. I'll drag him out and I'll bring him back in again and see what happens. Right? Because we may not be able. I can't hear shit. I can't hear shit. How's everyone going today? What's happening? What's happening? Right. I'll drag him out. There we go. Come back in. Hello? I can't hear him at all. Can't hear him at all. Can't hear him. You can hear me though, right? You can hear me just fine? No, I can't hear shit from him. Let me leave. I'll leave. I'll leave him in the chat and I'll come back out. Because sometimes this lovely little Discord thing chat. Hang on. So I'll disconnect from that and I'll come back. There we go. Nice. Awesome. How's that? Is that better? No. Can't hear him. Can't hear him. I don't know why. Let's turn the camera on. There we go. Let's get my face on the. Let's get my. Yeah, I can't hear him either. No idea why. So, let me just check something. Because sometimes this can occur. Hang on. So we'll change that to that. Come back on that. How's that? Speak. No, can't hear him. If you can hear me, just like close this. Give me a break. Just leave Discord and come back and see how we go. So anyway, so hopefully we'll be able to get him in here. But we're going to continue our further discussions in the whole casual verse pro thing, which is pretty cool. And there is an actual comment that was left that I'm going to add. I'm going to put it on the screen, right? Because this is actually pretty good comment. It's by Martin, and it was left on one of my videos yesterday. So, hello. I can't hear shit from him. I can't hear shit from him at all. Wow. How about that? Now, what's my headset on? No, fine. Everything's fine. All right. Let's see. I don't think I have him muted. But anyway, all right. So I'm gonna get this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this image on screen, and then we'll figure out the stuff behind the scenes. So, in hindsight, I probably should have tested it, but it's all good. We'll do this in real time. So this particular comment here was left. Gonna make it super big. It's by Martin. There we go. Put smack bang right in the middle for you guys to just quickly read that. Okay. Now you guys will still be able to hear me, but I'm gonna close my Discord and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna see whether or not that actually fixes it. Right. So you can still hear my voice, my sexy voice. There we go. Lovely. So this was a really great comment that he left on one of my videos yesterday. And I did pin it and I did highlight it in the vid. And it was the vid showcasing the stuff, the two clips that I played. So let's see. No, you don't need to be on camera for that. All right, let's jump in. There we go. Hello? No, I can't hear shit. I can't hear shit. I'm gonna jump into the other Discord and see if I can hear them. Hang on. Yo. No, I can't hear any of them. What the fuck is going on? Alright, let me check. Oh, I think I know what's happened. Hang on, let me check. Right. I'm getting back into the swing of things. Yeah, so this is a good comment. Input device, so we'll have it to that. Speakers, oh, that could be why. Test, hello. No, that's not working. Test, no. Testing, no. Okay. Headset, gaming headset, default. Alright, how's that? Better? No. For some reason, one weird reason, I can't seem to hear anyone on my Discord now. That's fine, we'll figure it out. By the way, for all of us that are in parts of the world where we're celebrating Easter, happy Easter to everyone as well. So, alright, how's that? I can't hear a soul. I can't hear a soul. They can't hear me. Yeah, I think it's on my end. Test this. Yeah, for some reason, hang on, let me check. Alright, how's that? Yeah, for some reason, it is not coming through. But yes, happy Easter to all. We'll eventually get there. Can you guys hear? You guys can hear me in stream. Can you guys hear me in the voice chat? Fine. Test. Hello. Sound board debugging. No, it's not picking it up. That's really weird. I can't say what Toby just said. I can't. Yeah, you can hear me just fine. All right. So for some reason, let me just double check. No, I don't think I need to hear that. I don't think that's going to help. You can hear me just fine. Okay. All right. That's fine. Test. No. Okay, that's not doing it. Global settings. Yeah, I'm not saying that, Toby. I'm going to get in big trouble if I said something like that. You know that. So, where's all my sound effects? Where's my, I can hear that just fine. That's okay. So everything is all good. Let me just close down Discord again. So yeah, so this comment's really good. He says, so much for the whole unity of the community to coming together. Wasn't that what MK Tom was talking about once in one of your live streams? Or was it all BS? He says, selling wolf tickets to the MKFG community about unity between the pro players and casuals. I don't know, but I don't like the term casual because it sounds more like the tourist that is not really a fan of MK or fighting games, but that's just stopping by for a visit to play the game for a bit, and that they purchase because of a guest character maybe, or something more on to another, or sorry, then move on to another game. They don't play the game because they are a fan of the franchise. Yep. And that, yeah, I don't know if I actually get the pass. I don't know if I actually get the pass. I don't think I should get the pass, Toby. Just in case, you know. Test. Hello. There we go. No. Let's testing. No, nothing's picking up. That's really weird. For some reason. Yeah, let me think. No, it won't be that. I literally can't hear shit. Hang on. Alright, so let's continue reading this anyway. We are legacy players who have played MK since the beginning, from MK 1, 2, and 3, the trilogy days, to now still. but I guess we are casual legacy players and they legacy pro players. Anyway, so much for the Unity talk. The comments from the only pros is just pushing them away instead of creating a Unity community. They building a border between the only pros and casuals, and we are the problem. Yeah, okay, right. So I think one of the issues is that, like, you know, and we've talked about this before, is that they want they want let's see, is that gonna help? Nope. I bet it's something simple. I bet this is something bloody simple when it comes to this. I'm gonna pop this out anyway and get back on the camera, right? And we could just have these people on screen, right? We'll just have a. I got them hidden down the bottom until I figure out this stuff, right? We'll figure it out. I'm sure it will be simple. Oh, hang on. I know what I did wrong.
God damn, this amateur.
Right. What did
I
you do?
fucking figured it out. I fucking figured it out,
You'd
man.
swear, you
know,
would swear he was doing this for years. Like you would swear.
You know
he was doing
why?
it for years.
You know why? Right? Is because so on the Stream Deck that I've got, the Stream Deck Plus, you can actually like mute like the audio sources, right? So I muted the Discord. So when I was doing the intro, so nobody would talk, right? And then I completely forgot about it. I completely forgot about it, right? Anyway.
Can you hear us?
Oh, loud and clear.
Can you hear us now?
Yep.
All right. Here we go.
100%.
Skill issue.
That was 100% a skill issue.
We
That was
go.
100% a skill issue. All right. Still blowing out the cobwebs. There's another comment that somebody just left an hour ago called by Barrington Daly. He said that, imagine if pro tennis player called non-pros scrubs and casuals and told them to shut the fuck up.
Right. They were kicked out of the league for unprofessional behavior.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing too, like, is that, you know, like when you've got like, you know, say for example, you've got two opposing sport teams, you know, they don't demand that the other team not have certain players because they can't figure out a way around it. I thought, and that's what you were saying earlier, I thought that the job of the pro player was to make sure that they could figure out ways around whatever issue. You're not supposed to have the game curated to you. You're supposed to make the game work for you, right? Like you're supposed to work with what you've got.
If you're so good, then why do you need to beg for patches? Work your way around it and be a pro.
Yeah.
If you're so good at what you do and you talk so much shit, why are you not adapting? Instead, you're going and crying to mommy.
Yeah. Yeah. How you going, Ryu? How you going? Hey, Fate and chat. Happy Easter. Happy Easter to you and to all. So, yeah, like that's the thing that I sort of find a bit strange is that if it's their job to do this, why did they complain if things have changed? Now, I do know the counter argument to that. The reason why they'll complain is because they'll be working on, say, a certain team, right, in the case of MK1, and they'll get used to that. They'll figure everything out. They'll figure out what to do against certain characters and things like that. And then what happens is that NetherRealm will change it, right, and then they're stuck because they're like, oh, now I've got to relearn everything. I think I remember almost a year ago something came up. I think it was Diddle that was playing against Sikander or something like that. I don't know. And I think normally, I could be wrong here, normally he was maining Cage, and then they did something, they changed something with like a nerf or whatever, right? So then he's like, oh shit, you know, it's I can't use it anymore. Now I actually understand that, like in older games that I've played, like MMOs and stuff, you might be using a particular farming build to farm up currency or items or whatever, and then they just decide that, oh, that's too OP, so they nerf it, and then that one tiny nerf can completely, you know, throw it out. But this is where I advocate for there being two different pathways of, you know, just the casuals got their broken crap, and then the tournament / pro people over here, that's the stuff that they tune. And because if you have two, then there won't be any conflict between the two camps, right? because the pro scene will get what they need or require, and the rest of us will just be like, yeah, fuck, this is great, this is broken, it's so much fun. That's my opinion on that anyway. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the complaining when you're supposed to be an expert, right? It's getting old.
yeah,
It's getting tiresome. You know, and these are the same people that talk shit to you and then ask you to donate to their freaking tournament,
yeah,
right? So what you're doing is you're creating a position. Like, I want a career in playing video games. You put all your eggs in that basket and you become good at it and you start making a little money off of it, which is wonderful. I mean, that's like a dream job for some people.
yeah.
But with that, stop your bitching.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's like, quit putting down what you call casuals. I don't even like the word casual. I think it's an insult. I'm a gamer.
Yeah.
Period. Right? If I've put 650 hours into Mortal Kombat 1. I'm not a pro, but am I a casual if I've already put that much time in? They feel like they're the ones that get to determine what label to put on each person.
Well,
And you've known me for a long time, Fate. I can't stand labels. I can't stand being put in a box, right? So it's like, who are they? They're not special. They're not better. You're better at mashing buttons and remembering patterns. Good for you. But you're not a better gamer. And your opinion is just as equal as mine.
So just to give like some people some history, because
sorry.
and no, this is about you actually. So to not call you a pro player, but you did play tournaments all the way back in the day. So do you want to give everyone a rundown of your history? Because like people think that I've never like interacted or know or talked to people, and yet you're like one of the longest, like you've been a supporter of me and a friend for a very long time, and this is what you used to do. So holler away.
Well, I was playing in tournaments back at MK2 and UMK3 days, both arcade and on X-Band. X-Band was a dial-up system. You could play people all over the United States. You know, you paid a fee, blah, blah, blah. Right? And it was fun. But then the tournament stuff was awesome, too, going to arcades and doing all that. I don't like the label anymore of a pro because of what the pros have become. I distance myself from that. I don't consider myself a casual. Honestly, I'm just a veteran of the old games that taught a lot of people how to play Mortal Kombat. Because back in my day, I hate to sound like an old man, but back in my day, us pros, if that's the word you want to use, we spent most of our time teaching others how to play. There was none of this, like, get good or fucking you scrub. Excuse me, sorry for my language, but
No,
there was none of that crap. I mean, you had your couple of arrogant people, but it wasn't a problem, right?
Yeah.
And we had communities. You can talk to Breezy. He's from Atlanta, just like me. You spoke to Breezy last night.
Yep.
You know, we grew communities. We made, we didn't just beat the shit out of each other. We taught each other. We grew from one another. We had morals, and we treated each other with respect.
Yep.
That's something that I don't see in that community anymore, and that's why I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
As for my background, I mean, I got second and third place in MK2 and UMK3, a couple of tournaments. I mean, and back then there was no money. Okay, we're talking 92 through 97. If you won a tournament, you got a T-shirt, your name was in a magazine, and you got the glory. That was it, right?
Yeah.
And it was great. And I do miss those days. And I don't know if it's all nostalgia or part nostalgia, but I do remember that we treated each other better than what they do to each other today.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, like you got guys like Brady, who talks, big about how the old days used to be and stuff like that. But is he talking about the old days of MK9, or is he talking about the old days of like classic MK, right? And as kind of like a gauntlet thrown moment, we've got like not only like casual but also competitive online play with Fightcade on PC that even a toaster could run, right? There are hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of people playing on Fightcade every single day. In fact, some of the biggest lobbies, let me just double check at the moment, because there might, I just want to see, because maybe this time of day we might see some of the bigger ones. some of the biggest lobbies that they have on Fightcade, I've seen up to like 500, maybe 600, in like a King of Fighters, things like that. And usually the oh yeah, okay, all right. So all right, here we go. Right, this is impressive. Right, so these people, especially some of these older guys, right? Gauntlet Throne, why the fuck aren't you playing on Fightcade? Right, I got told to stay in my lane and talk. Fucking, you should only be talking about this. Right? Well, why are they scared to get on Fightcade and play the games that they apparently were great at?
There's more people playing the fight game or the Fightcade Mortal Kombat games combined more than there is MK.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
So you can see right now. So this is basically the popular games currently running at the moment. King of Fighters, 2002. 2002. How old's this fucking game? 23 years, give or take, right? 790 people. 790 people in a game that is 23 years old, right? That's more. You know what? You know what's hilarious, right? That's more people that are playing that, or in that lobby at least right now, right? Because the number, by the way, is not how many people have like got the lobby attached to their account. It's the amount of people that are in there, right? Because you can leave on the side here. You can see you can leave these on a whim, right? So if I click on say Ultimate, that's usually the biggest of the MK ones. We've got the people looking to play. And then we got the people who are playing. And then we got all these other people who are just away at the moment. Right? And that's just in Ultimate MK3 as you go down the ladder for MK2. Right?
But you know what the funny
and
thing is?
smaller.
They say like, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. It's like, bitch, there's more people in my lane than there is in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
You know the way I see it?
You know, it's like, stay in your lane.
We
It's like,
paved
oh,
the
what,
lane.
What, you got like 2,000 people playing it right now on Steam?
We poured the concrete and created the lane so you could drive on it.
Yeah.
Show some respect.
Yep. You can't. It is not a case of what came first. It has always been, because it's an entertainment product, the game had to sell to an audience. Even in the arcade, it had to sell. That's why when they created Killer Instinct, they increased the volume of all the sounds. So when you walked in the arcade, you know, and you're hearing like Ultra Combo, like somewhere in there, you're like, what the fuck is that? Because they realized that the audio would get people's attention, right? What's this loud ass game? You know?
Select screen.
Yeah.
The Killer Instinct character select screen.
Yeah.
It's fucking badass.
Yep. And so, you know, and so they were competing with, like, obviously in an arcade they had different genres. Obviously they had, you know, the shoot 'em ups. You had the what do you call it? The racing games. You had the fighting games. You know, and so you had to, and of course your standard like side scroller arcade beat 'em up types. So you had to set yours apart from somebody else. You know, whether it was a bigger screen, because sometimes MK would be on like one of those big, you know, 70-inch screens that they put in the arcade, you know, just to get the attention. So when you walk in there, even from the front, you can look down the back and go, wow, I can see MK playing, you know. It was all competition, you know, to try and get them to put quarters in their machine over somebody else, right? And so, you know, who did that? It wasn't that the arcade was made just for a pro scene. It was just gamers, right? Gamers that just wanted to go in and play games.
That's what they forgot. That this is just a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a product, right? Yeah. They're not performing heart surgery, so they're not heroes, right? They're not accomplishing anything out in the real life. They are not special.
Yep.
Right? And they treat us like we're not allowed to have an opinion. We're not allowed to say anything. And if we do, then, you know, we're the bad guys. You know, and it's just like, well, what are you doing? You're making money off of a product, right, that you're playing, and putting down other people that are not making money, or, you know what I'm saying? And then to me, it doesn't make sense, because it's entitlement and snobbish behavior.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like, dude, why can't you just let other people enjoy the product? If they complain about it, stay in your fucking lane. How about that?
Yep. And one of the good things too about like Fightcade as well, it's not just fighting games. So if you've got like some old like side scroller beat 'em up, like say Night Slashers here or whatever, if there's a 2-player component, you can play it, right? And so as you can see here, it's now up to 793 players. The King of Fighters 98, so it's an older game by 4 years. 697, 667 in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and then another King of Fighters as well, 2002, and so on and so on and so on. And it just shows, like, right now, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 has 104, MK2 is 46, and we got MK1. Let me see, what have we got here for, I don't know, looking 3, there's 26 not available, so there's like, what, 29 in that lobby, right? And that goes up and down depending on time of day. Okay. Does Fightcade work on a Steam Deck? It could do.
It does.
It does? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It can run on a potato.
Well, I think because so with Steam Deck you've got to there's programs that you can use to install non-Steam games. I think that's what you might be asking. But I would assume yes. I would assume that they probably got it. Somebody has figured out a way to get Fightcade running on Steam Deck. So when I see these old guys, right, some of them I respect, some of them I don't, that sit there and like, you know, nostalgic for the old days, it's like, bro, it's right there. It is right there. Right, most computers that people have are obviously going to be way more powerful than anything this is ever going to require. So you literally have it right in front of you to be able to go back, load up MK1, MK2, MK3, you know. And keep in mind too, like, this is the thing, like, you get sweaties in here, 100%, right? But you also, now, if people don't realize, there actually is like a ranking system as well. You know, you can actually set up, so if you and I had a match, we can set up going, you know, first to 5, first to 10. You know, we just I think we set ourselves to rank, and that's when, I think that's how you do it. I haven't done it yet, but I'm pretty sure that's how you do it, right? Because you'll see here, notice these people with the symbols beside their flag of origin, rank C, rank C, rank B, right? So these here are basically people that have leveled up by playing classic MK, right? And these people, it's like fighting a nightmare, right? These people are just like, you know, you think like these pro players in these modern MK games, you know, are tough. You ain't seen nothing. You know, like, these guys are just, and the reason for that, probably a couple of reasons, and I'm not being, I don't want to sound insensitive when I say this, but obviously, as you notice by some of the flags, they're from some, like, Southern America regions, possibly, right? So they either haven't had as much access to the modern gaming, right? This is why the Mugen scene for fighting games is so big, because a lot of it does come out of South America, right? Because they've kept the love and the joy alive for classic MK, and it showcases through their Mugen products, like when they put out the different versions of the game, and also on here. So it's like these guys just never stopped, and you can tell. But you can fucking tell these guys just never stopped playing MK since then.
If you get on Fightcade and you see Latin America, you be prepared to get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
They're gonna stomp you, and they're gonna, you know, and you're gonna like it.
Yep. Yep.
They've been playing that shit for years.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
For years.
Yep.
Games that people have forgotten about, they are still playing it to this day, every day.
And you've got, hang on, I'll come back to Fightcade. So you've got all of these things down here, which are these events that they've set up. Right, so they're like, so Ultimate MK3, there's a tournament coming up on the 27th, right? MK2, there's none at the moment, MK1. So the current MK1 is this one. So they're setting up their own online tournaments, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, and then it's not just for Mortal Kombat. You can see down the bottom here, right? There's another one, right? So what have we got here? We've got Dodgeball, Windjammers. We've got Street Fighter. What's that one? Is that I don't know what that is. Awakened, is it? Is that a game? Is that a fighting game? I don't know. Samurai Showdown 5, right? Don't know what that one is. I'd have to click on it and check it. But yeah, so we have they have events all the time. This is a community. This is a community, right? Of all the old shit. And when they're sitting there crying about fucking, you know, oh, the good old days, it's like, bro, the good old days are right here. Right? Why don't
They don't know.
Why don't they get on here? And I think they're afraid. I think they're afraid.
Or they never participated in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's possible as well, you know.
I'll challenge anyone to Mortal Kombat 2 and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Daryl, if you're watching,
Daryl, yeah.
let's go.
Yeah. Yeah,
Let's
Daryl's
go.
great. And I like, I don't know if Daryl will be in the stream or not, but shout out to Daryl. He's got a great head on his shoulders. And he also said too that, like, because he's very successful over on his channel, when he does his streams, he fights a lot of the audience too. So hopefully over time we'll get more and more people on the Fightcade and do that as well. And he said he actually gave me some good advice. He said, you know, when you're fighting in here, right, it's better to fight people from your audience rather than some of these guys, because some of these guys, like, they're just like robots. They are they are so programmed to fight a certain way and so just aggressive that, you know, you're constantly just getting your ass handed to you. And he's like, you know, that doesn't make for good viewership. So that was shout out to Daryl for that good advice. So, but yeah, Fightcade's there. You know, if you used to play a classic fighting game back in the day, it's right there, you know, for you to do it.
Yep.
If it isn't there, you know, because obviously they're just ROMs, you could just load it up, you know, and you know, get people playing. Right?
They've even got internal champions. I mean, there's so many games. Every Street Fighter game you can think of.
Yep.
All at your fingertip for free.
Yep. And you could browse on Popular so we can get an even bigger picture here. So as we come down, obviously, you know, Japanese fighters are dominating. And then we got JoJo here as well, Capcom vs SNK2, which, by the way, I can't wait for. That's going to be amazing. Next month, the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 comes out. So we got Ultimate MK3, right, and then we keep going down. More and more. We got Vampire Savior, Marvelous Capcom, the first one, Samurai Showdown 2. There's 54 people playing. Samurai Showdown 2 was like my MK2 version of Samurai Showdown. And Samurai Showdown 2 was really great. It just kind of took the first game and then just added to it. You know, it kind of really felt like a, you know, really nice upgrade. Hell, we even got Metal Slug 3. People are playing Metal Slug 3 together. You know, Real Bout Fatal Fury, which is awesome. Capcom vs SNK SVC Chaos, which you can also get. They have released on Steam as well. So these are the most popular by the amount of people in a lobby. And now King of Fight, like, it's now gone up to 815. 815 people right now playing a 23-year-old game. That's fucking crazy, right? If I go on Steam and I have a look at Mortal Kombat 1's, what's this player base right now? 1,996. Brand new Mortal Kombat.
What an amazing...
Like, that's crazy, bro.
Oh, the pros are so saving Mortal Kombat 1. Remember? The pros are the ones that keep the game alive. Bullshit. Bullshit. I mean, that's just kind of weird thinking. Like, less than 0.0001% of gamers that call themselves pros are keeping a game alive. Look at the 1,500 that's currently playing Mortal Kombat right now.
Yeah. I think
they're doing such a great job.
I think the problem with that is that maybe it's because they're looking at, like, who's streaming it, you know, or who's making videos about, you know, MK, right? And going, oh, well, it's obviously these people are keeping it alive, but that's actually not necessarily true.
No,
because
it's not.
Because the silent majority, you know, are either keeping it alive or walking away and not keeping it alive, right?
Most people that are playing these games are not even on the internet, like watching YouTube videos or in Discords or blah, blah, blah. They're just playing the game because they bought it to have fun.
Yeah. Yep.
The customer keeps the game alive.
Yep. And if we click on the Mega Drive, for example, the Genesis section, right, you could play Streets of Rage 2. Now, granted, a lot of emulation also has the ability for you to, to connect up with other people and stuff like that as well. But Fightcade's a really nice front end as well for that sort of thing. And my version of Fightcade actually sort of, without sort of delving too deep, but essentially if you wanted to get into Fightcade, the best version to get is the one on our Discord, because that one will grab, it will assist you in the finalization of being able to play these games. So let's just leave it there, right? So it's actually a really good one, because if you don't have that one, it's a little bit more of a, not a headache, but it takes a little bit more sort of nuance to understand if you're not really sure about, where to put things in certain folders. But you've even got there's like Sonic, Battletoads, and Double Dragon, Speedball 2. I love playing Speedball 2 back in the day. It's a great futuristic cyberpunk sports game. It's really awesome. Streets of Rage 1, and this is just the Mega Drive, right?
Yeah.
If we click on the Super Nintendo, okay, we got 21 people right now playing the Super NES version of Killer Instinct. Right now. That's crazy. That's insane. We got 11 people in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Right? We got even some Super Mario games that people are playing together as well. Donkey Kong Country, Top Gear, Like a Mice from Mars, International Superstar Soccer. This is just wild that, that we have all this. And again, like Gauntlet Throne moment, why aren't these guys that love these old games on their computer? It's easy. You just use a Microsoft controller or Flight Stick, whatever you want to use. PlayStation,
The answer is simple. There's no money in it.
Yeah. And
there's no money to be made.
The interesting part though is that Evo isn't. I think is the new Evo this year. Are they having? I think they're having Third Strike again, are they not? And possibly Marvel vs. Capcom 2, maybe? Or is it Capcom vs. SNK 2? I can't remember.
Capcom versus SNK 2.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. I love that fighter, man. That collection coming out next month is an absolute, day one. 100%.
Yep.
A day one.
How much is it? 50 or 40? $39.99?
Yeah, I mean, well, it always sounds cheaper with you guys and your damn American prices.
Privilege.
Yeah, that's some American privilege right there. Fighting collection. Oh, actually, you know what? Actually, that's not too bad. $54.94. That's not too bad, actually. I'm surprised. I thought it'd be way more expensive than that. So, plus we get Power Stone coming back as well. There were some little cult favorites too. But my two out of this one is Capcom vs SNK 2 and Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, or the originals, which was the one that they featured on the PlayStation 1, and then they did some subsequent versions on the PSP and then the Dreamcast. But it all originated from 03 Upper, where they added in all those extra characters like Guile and Evil Ryu and stuff like that. So that's going to be a good collection, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a really solid collection. Fightcade's, that's sort of, it proves that you can, if you are nostalgic for this old style, then that's right there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm currently playing MK2. I mean, it's the arcade port.
Let's load it up so everyone can have that watching. And I'll just mute that just so it's just so loud, because it is pretty loud. And that's interesting too, because we touched on it a little bit yesterday about we didn't have any training modes, right? So when you were essentially trying to train yourself to go to, say, some sort of like MK2 Ultimate MK3 tournament, the only ones that were really authentic enough to practice on was the arcade. And if you weren't playing against other people, you only had the AI to play against. I remember a long time ago a certain individual made fun of the fact that I mostly played against the AI, and somehow that meant that I was not going to have the skills or quality enough to be able to fight. And yet, funnily enough, the only practice I ever did have was against the AI, Because it's not just the fact that you just get used to a technique against the AI and go, yep, that's it.
Right.
You also start to understand like the strength, the length of kicks, you know, the range of the kicks or punches, which ones are stronger versus others, all sorts of stuff. Whether an uppercut, you know, will take out another character when they jump in to do a jump kick. All of those things come together when, even if you're playing against a computer, because even though the computer can cheat in the sense of like, say, do a sweep and an instant throw, they're still bound by the same properties. So it doesn't change, right? The high kick will still work if they jump in. It doesn't matter whether it's against an AI opponent or against a human opponent, right? They're very strong.
Right.
That's a very strong, you know, anti-air. So, so it's so weird to think that that you know, like, oh well, you don't know how to fight because you didn't sit in a room full of a bunch of other sweaty people. That's just ridiculous. And back then, this was the primo version to be able to play. It was the primo version because the home versions, like the Mega Drive version, was the best. It was the arcade accurate AI. That's why that if I played the Mega Drive and then I went into the arcade, like all the tricks and tips that I was working out and stuff like that or learning would work on the home version in the Mega Drive or Genesis. It worked instantly in the arcade. Whereas the Super NES version, the AI was changed. You know this because sometimes you'll start a fight and the AI will jump back. The AI never jumps back in MK2 AI, ever. It just never does. Never does.
Give me 1 second. I'm going to load up a different game.
Alright, that's cool. So,
I'm going to do something a little bit more. I don't know how many people in the chat remember this, but do you remember content? You remember when Mortal Kombat used to actually put content in their games?
yeah, I remember.
Not just microtransactions and color palettes and guest characters, right?
Yep. And you know, it's interesting to play devil's advocate there. Like we had when we got MK1, right? Even just as a home version or MK2, what was the content? Right? What was the actual content? It was just arcade ladder, maybe one-on-one if one of your mates was around, and that was it. Right? We had the characters and obviously associated moves with the characters and finishing moves, stages, you know. But ultimately, there were no game modes like what you're seeing on screen. We didn't have chess combat. We didn't have puzzle combat. But it's really interesting how the fact that I never felt like I was lacking for content. Does that make sense? Like, why do you think that? Why do you think that is? I know why.
Because the combat was satisfying.
That's right. Yep. Because the foundation was solid.
Yep. You didn't need anything else. You were content. You were happy with what you got.
Yep.
And you know, it's just the way it goes now. This new stuff. I guess it's the old head talking, but it's like they put a gimmick in your face and then they want you to play it, and then when you're not happy with it, they tell you, oh, you're just old, or you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, dude, I've been playing video games most of my life, right? It's a great hobby. It keeps me out of trouble. The wife's happy, right? And it's like listening to people tell you that you're not allowed to complain, saying that MK1 doesn't have a lot of content, right? It didn't until Towers of Time, in my opinion. Invasions was a mobile game that they gave us. You know, sometimes Invasions will even glitch out and it will look like a mobile game. Like, it's interesting. I've seen it a few times. So it looks like they just took a mobile game and then they zoomed out, right? And you know, it's boring. It takes, you know, I have to watch a movie while I do Invasions just to do Invasions.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm an MK fan, so I'm not a casual or a pro. I'm a fan. I'm a customer, so I still bought the game, and I still play the content.
Yep.
And, you know, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. See, I think Tekken 8, like, in regards to Tekken 8, so as an overall package, it's not bad. You know, it's not a bad product at all. I think it's, you know, it's good. But I think there's one thing missing, right? When you go into the arcade lounge, like, it looks amazing. You know, they've really captured the feel of arcades and stuff like that. But it's mostly like a painting. There's no real meat in there. You know, there's no
No.
meat going on in there. There's no, like, for example, if I was the Tekken team, I would be putting in every other previous Tekken game into that arcade area, right? With full online play, because then that does is that drives traffic into the game, keeps people in the game. I know, like, you know, like I know you. I think I don't. Maybe I'll help you after this stream if you got the time, but I think you've got the demo or the free version for Granblue, right?
Yes.
So my idea, and this is an MMO thing that they've been doing for a long time, is that how do I keep people in the game when they're not fighting, right? Do you want them to log out and play something else, or do you want to keep them in the game, engaged in the universe, but not necessarily fighting? Like, so what do you do on the downtime? And in MMOs over the years, they've been figuring out that, yeah, we need to have things like, you know, like in World of Warcraft, and in pet collecting, you know, other MMOs,
Right.
they brought in things like player housing, which allows people to, you know, customize, you know, their own house and all that sort of stuff, right? So fighting games need to do that. So it's fairly obvious with the implementation of the lobby system in Granblue that they really put a lot of thought into, you know, how do we keep people engaged in the game, right? So they've got all the arcade machines where you can sit down and play someone else, which is really cool. But you've also got they've been creating, I think they've got 2 now, little arcade games, you know, that you can go play. They've actually got a 3rd game. It's a crane game, which allows you to spend some small rupees to try and get extra colors or pictures or whatever. And then you've got like a soccer field over here. You've also got access to Grand Brews if you want to through that. And then of course you've got the big secondary game mode, which is Grand Brews, which is essentially a Fall Guys ripoff. But it's absolutely amazing, you know. It's they put a lot of thought and effort into creating it, and all of this stuff comes together. So when you're tired of fighting, you know, and you're hanging out with your mates, because they just recently, and I'll have to make sure you add it to the crew. They just added in a section into the game called the crew, because there's a part in the main menu where you can actually open up a guest book. You know, think of it kind of like Facebook, where you can make a post and then people can reply to your post. So there's actually a mini community, you know, like a messaging system within the game. And then they added these 3 tabs where you can join or create up to 3 crews or clans, where you can have people join. It's just your crew tab, so think of it like a guild, so only messages that you and your other like crewmates can see. And that's really awesome. You know, that again creates more community, it gets more people invested, and it means there's probably less chance that they're going to dip out of the game and go play something else. So
Yeah.
Tekken, while they've created this gorgeous lounge, you've got the volleyball stuff over here. What they need to do is bring back Tekken Bowl, or, you know, some other form of, you know, some sort of like mini games, like a sport mini game or something like that. You know, maybe like Tekken Golf. You know, where, you know, you kick the ball or something like that. You know, or whatever. You know, or you have like some sort of like unique power up with the golf club, and that interaction, that fun moment, you can play with your friends, you know, or family, and that gets you invested. But bringing back the arcade game, all the old games, you know, everything, just bring it all back, you know, and that way people will get in there. MK1 feels like a mobile game because it doesn't feel like they put a lot of thought and effort. Like, could you imagine, in the same capacity that they designed the Tekken Lounge, they did it MK style, right? And you could change that visually for yourself, right? So, or even if you couldn't, they would have one area which would be the living forest. So you walk in there, suddenly gets all dark, you hear all these sounds, you see the trees roaring. If you get too close, the tree might grab your avatar and chomp you, you know, stuff like that. You could set your own custom music playing while you're, you know, your own lobby music, because they do that in Granblue, right? You can actually have your own, you know, your own choice of music that they have available. And then you would have access to all the old MK games as well. So that way, you know, it's stuff that keeps you invested inside the game once you stop playing the main part. and then you go, you know what? Let's go play some MK2 online, right? Let's do it.
Yep.
So, and because of that, you know that you know it's essentially Fightcade, and they take what they've done with Fightcade and they put it inside the game, and it's very easy for people to play. I mean, shit, man. Fightcade has a lobby system, and MK1 doesn't. A free app has a lobby system.
I love the excuses that come out from these people. Oh, they were pressured to hurry the game up. They only had 2 years to make it. Wait, they only had 3. They only had 1. They only had 4. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to release a product, I don't give a shit about if it's delayed or you had to fire half your people. If the game is not ready, don't release it.
Yep.
Don't take my money under false pretenses saying this is the complete game when we know it's not.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. And that's the thing, like, you know, and that's because, like, people, like, psychologically, people get very invested or connected to a product, you know, so they feel that if the product is under attack, you know, they're gonna somehow lose it, or somehow, you know, it's not gonna get any more support or anything like that. So people get very defensive. This is stuff I saw back in the day with the PlayStation versus Xbox. It's no different. It's no different with, you know, with any, you know, opposing forces. You know, they're scared and they're worried that they're going to lose what they love, you know, and that voice is starting to get louder and louder and louder, and they can't handle it.
But don't lie to the masses because it affects your back pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
Don't con people to sell a product that you're over here preaching is done and ready, and then after the game fails, then those same people, but they were pressured by WB. It's like, wait a minute, you told me the game was done. It was good. It was fixed. And then all these excuses come out, you know, and it's like, dude, I'm done with your excuses.
Yep. So
you took my money.
I can't pronounce this. I can't pronounce this dude's name, but I'll read his comment. He'll know what I'm talking about. He says, "MK1 is shit. I wish the unnecessary colors wouldn't be in the game." True. Example: things like red katana, yellow sub, blue scorpion, etc. I don't know your name. He goes, "Retro, please mention me." So shout out to that dude in the comment. Yes, I agree. I don't like the fact that we get these different color variations of these characters. It's one of the things also that separated Mortal Kombat from some other fighting games, where other fighting games like Street Fighter, Fatal Fury, Art of Fighting, you know, all that sort of stuff, Samurai Showdown, because they had the multiple color swap immediately, right? It wasn't an issue. It's kind of sort of blended and fell into, okay, yeah, this is just normal for this game. But Mortal Kombat never had that. Mortal Kombat might get, for example, you got yellow Scorpion, you might get more orangey Scorpion, right? Or you might have a light blue Sub-Zero, darker blue Sub-Zero, right? But visually, you always knew it was Sub-Zero. You always knew it was Scorpion. You always knew it was Katana, right? And then ever since, like, I think MK10 was alright with the outfits. I think that was still fairly on point. I'd have to go back and check every one, but I'm pretty sure it was okay. But in MK11, they're like, no, we're gonna make it so everyone can have all these different colors, and that's a major issue, because then what you've done is you stripped away the identity of the visual representation of what that character is, right? Not to mention, I swear to God, somebody is blind in the art department over there, because some of those Ronald McDonald fucking colors and shit that we got, you know, in Season of the Spectre, like, what do they think? And like, it's just some of they're just woeful. Like I have no idea how bad they are. Oh, it's you, MK Sherlock. Oh, how you going, man? Awesome. I know, like, your name is showing up in, like, I don't know, maybe Russian. I'm not sure. Like, it's definitely not saying that, man. But yeah, shout out to MK Sherlock, great dude. So, Inked Up says, how does MK1 feel like a mobile game? Zach replied, it looks like a mobile game with the menus and towers. Yeah, if you have a look at, if you go back and you compare the tower design of MK, even 11, 10, 9, right? They look really good. How you going, Blackinator? What's happening, bro? They look really good. But it almost looks so bad at MK1. It looks like a PNG. Like they perfectly cut out this tower and just overlaid it onto another background there doesn't
Yep.
feel like there's any depth, any grit. It doesn't feel like a 3D model at all. And I'm not against simple menus, but the menus, you know, and then you got the advertising over this side with the shop and stuff, and it kind of cheapens it. Like, so when we say it's like it feels like a mobile game, it feels cheap. You know, like it doesn't feel like there was, like, you know, like it doesn't feel like a AAA fully fledged release of a game. It feels like a mobile game. You know, it feels like, you know, when you see those trailers for mobile games like MMOs, and it shows all this awesome combat CGI, and you get in the game and you're like a 2D pixel, you know, versus another 2D pixel. That's kind of what it's like, you know, compared to even just in their own archive of what they've created with MK11 and MK10. No, it is so, it just feels so cheap.
Lazy.
Yeah, it just feels woeful, you know.
Like,
So-
don't get me wrong, MK1 is a beautiful game, right? Like, while you're fighting and the backgrounds is awesome, but when you look at the menus and you look at when you select your opponent and you do like the arcade ladder, for instance, and you see that background and you see the tower that you climb, it's completely lazy.
Blackinator has become a member. Thank you so much, brother. So towers alone make it feel like no, it's not just the towers. Yeah, menus, positioning of the shop, monetization as well. You know, it was very egregious. The grind as well. Very in the early days, the character level grinding was so severe that eventually they did fix that. Not to mention now they've added in the option. I think you told me, Dragoon, you can actually buy a certain amount of crystals, dragon crystals, that then negate that level up experience. Correct?
Yeah, if you want to spend $700 per character, and it doesn't matter
Hey,
what level you are.
Hey, you mean crystals?
Crystals, whatever. Right. It's like, it doesn't matter.
No, $700.
What did I say?
You said $700. You said $700.
$7. My bad. 700 dragon crystals, which is equivalent to $7 per character.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what what level you are. You could be level 1 and it costs $7, or you could be level 31,
Yeah.
getting to 35 or whatever, and it still costs $7. Yeah, $700. Hey, do the math. Each character, there's 30. How many characters on the roster times $7 a piece?
Yeah. Now, Ink says I'll take the MK.
$300.
He says he'll take the MK shop over Street Fighters. At least you can't even grind currency to get skins in Street Fighter 6. Yeah. So I mean, I've never covered it because obviously Street Fighter is not my, you know, it's not my favorite fighting game, right? But I don't like the shop either, at all. In fact,
I'm not a fan.
the battle
No.
passes are shit, right? Because they are just for your avatar character, right? And your avatar like Wild World Tour mode is great. It was, you know, it was essentially like their take on Deception's Conquest, if you will. That wasn't bad, but no, I'm not a fan of the shop. The prices of the outfits are very expensive, and yeah, I think it's garbage as well. I'm not like I think I did think in MK1's fairness, I'm pretty sure they did reduce some of the pricing, like the crystals, the amount that you needed for some of the stuff. I think they did that. It was very expensive originally. I think it's come down a bit. But the best store, again, to pimp out the game, Grand Blue has the best in-game currency shop, right? Because all the currency you earn is in the game. There is no way to buy currency, so it means that everything is earned inside the game itself. There are only a couple of things that you can buy with real world money if you don't want to spend your currency, and that's a couple of outfits from memory. So everything is earned in the game and spent in the game, just like these classic MK games, right? With the 3D era, when they brought in the coins, the different colored coins that you could earn. You know, it was all earned in the game, and then you could spend it depending on which, you know, part of the crypt, you know, you were spending the particular colored dragon coin on. So I think Grand Blues is the best. I think Grand Blues is still the best shop. The one thing I do like about Tekken's shop, though, over MK's, is the fact that there's no FOMO, in the sense that you know, when they bring out a new outfit for your characters that you can buy, it doesn't go away, right? It just adds, like, so the shop just continually gets bigger. I think that's what they need to do. I think, you know, rather than create this FOMO, they need to just put the stuff in there and then just keep adding to it. So that way when you go in and you go, oh, I wonder what new skins are available for Scorpion. You know, you can go in there and you can see all the old ones, and then you can see if there's any new ones as well. I don't like FOMO. Not a big fan of it. So, yeah.
What's next? All right, got a favor to ask.
Mm-hmm.
When you came back, first thing you did was play your own diss track.
I did.
I would like to request that you play mine.
You want your own diss track? You want your own? So we're doing Old Man Dragoon.
Old Man, yeah.
Old Man Dragoon. I'm gonna have to find a funny little dancing video. Right. So we'll just set that up. Oh, you're a fan of these two guys. This will work, and then I'll swap through. All right. So we're gonna don't get anywhere, guys. We're gonna be playing. This is what we do on the channel now. We actually play music. We got over 200 plus songs readily available for us to you know, to do it. And I
locked and loaded.
And then after this song, we will come back, and I will be reading the comments that I see you guys have just posted those, and yeah, here we go. Oh, hang on. Where'd it go? Hang on. There we go. It started up. There we go. Blah, 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 blah.
Up block, Fate.
Up block. I know. I hit the wrong button.
Kill issue.
Dragoon,
Get good.
Take a seat. Still mad about the last defeat? Mortal Kombat ain't your lane. Back in my day, bro, it's not the same. Swinging that stick like it's 92. Blame the lag when we body you. Talking about skill, but it's looking rough. Time to uninstall. Enough's enough. Oh, Dragoon's so mad. Lost again, now he's calling it bad. Ubisoft fanboys stand tall, but them servers barely work at all. Assassin's Creed, yeah we get it, 10 gigs deep, but you won't admit it. Every patch, every glitch still offended. Man, you rich. Rainbow Six connection dropped. Watch Dogs, that plot just flopped. Far Cry, same game again. Yeah, here you are, Ubisoft's best friend. Oh, Dragoon's so mad. Lost again, now he's calling it bad. Ubisoft fanboys stand tall, but them servers barely work at all. Rainbow Six connection dropped. Watch Dogs, that plot just flopped. Far Cry, same game again. Yeah, here you are, Ubisoft's best friend. Oh, Dragoon's so mad. Lost again, now he's calling it bad. Ubisoft fanboys stand tall, but them servers barely work at all. Where's the down for it? Ubisoft ain't gonna pay your mortgage. Oh, Dragoon's so mad. Lost again, now he's calling it bad. Ubisoft fanboys stand tall, but them servers barely work at all. Assassin's Creed, yeah we get it, 10 gigs deep, but you won't admit it. Every patch, every glitch still offended. Man, you rich. Rainbow Six connection dropped. Watch Dogs, that plot just flopped. Far Cry, same game again. Yeah, here you are, Ubisoft's best friend. Oh, Dragoon's so mad. Lost again, now he's calling it bad. Ubisoft fanboys stand tall, but them servers barely work at all. Rainbow Six connection dropped. Watch Dogs, that plot just flopped. Far Cry, same game again. Yeah, here you are, Ubisoft's best friend. Oh, Dragoon's so mad. Lost again, now he's calling it bad. Ubisoft fanboys stand tall, but them servers barely work at all. Where's the down for it? Ubisoft ain't gonna pay your mortgage.
There we go.
Thank you, sir.
No
I
worries.
appreciate
No
it.
worries, sir. Oh, what have we got here? We got some trilogy. Excellent.
Yeah,
we
why
got some
not?
trilogy. All right, so let's go back to what was being said. Zero Talent says it takes a year of grinding to afford anything in the Grand Blue shop. Possibly, right? I know some of the things, for example, like a couple of the outfits which were part of the battle passes can be a little bit pricey, right? But I will say that the actual cost is very low. So for the battle passes in Grand Blue, they're like Australian dollars. It's like $7, maybe $8, depending on exchange rate, which is really cheap. Like that's really, really good value. And you get tons of currency and tons of things to unlock in it. It's the best battle pass against every other battle pass that's out there for fighting games, which is really nice. So yeah. What's the other one? Oh, we got so MK Sherlock says I'm really excited to see when an MK Classic remake will come out. It looks like Ed Boon has already hinted at it with a picture of Kerry Hoskins and the Nightwolf actor.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's what's his name? I can't think of his name. I've got it. What's his name? Silver?
Daniel?
No. Silver. Is it? What's his name? The Nightwolf guy?
Carlos damn it. I don't.
I can see it in my head.
It wasn't Yeah,
No, it's
I
not
can
Carlos.
too.
Yeah. With Kerry Hoskins, Nightwolf acting in the Face Catch studio. So, I don't care so much about a remake. I just want. I think that they need to do what Capcom's doing. Right? They need to just give us all of these old games in nice big collections. I've already talked about this before. You get your classic. You separate the generations out. So you have like the 2D collection, which obviously includes all the arcade games, but also includes the home versions. So you can play on the Super NES version, you can play on the Mega Drive or Genesis version, play on the Sega Master System version of some of these games as well, Game Boy versions, Game Gear versions, right? All of that should be in one package, all online play, right? As well as a whole bunch of artwork. I mean, shit, man, they can take it from what they were putting in with Deadly Alliance, or God knows whatever else. Like, you gotta go absolutely crazy,
Yep.
you know, with that sort of thing. And then you have the Dada collection, the Deadly Alliance Deception Armageddon collection. Now, going back to the 2D, I would include in the 2D also MK4, I consider to be part of the 2D era. I would also include Mythologies and Special Forces. That kind of bookends that, you know, to me. Then you got the 3D era, which starts off with Deadly Alliance Deception, Armageddon, and throw in Shaolin Monks. And that particular one, all you got to do is allow 4K resolution, and that's all you need. You know, you don't actually need to do anything else. On these emulators, you can run these games at 4K, 60 frames, perfect, or if not higher. They look amazing. It just smooths everything out. Okay? Have the online play. I don't think Deadly Alliance had online, did it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It might have been on the OG Xbox.
Oh,
It had a
really?
modem attached to it. Yeah, and PS2 had modems.
Yeah.
So possibly.
So definitely Deception Armageddon did. But regardless, I would have it so that you could play all these online. You could make it so that you could imagine playing co-op online in Shaolin Monks. That'd be pretty damn good, right? That'd be really, really good, right? And then if you wanted to have another collection, and if you wanted to, obviously you would then include in this collection MK vs DC. You would have MK9, right? And then if you wanted to as well, you could also include, you know, MK10, 11 if you wanted to have them in there. Obviously, MK10 and 11 don't necessarily need a remaster, but the only thing that needs remastered when it comes to Mortal Kombat 9 is just simply having a high resolution for the cutscenes. The cutscenes, even on PC, if you go back and play it, terrible quality. So that's something that they need to fix in regards to that particular thing, right? And if they do that, that'd be great. That'd be really, really awesome. And you would just make bank. You would make like so much money, you know, because of it. And it can be done because Fightcade can do it. If Fightcade, a free app, can allow you to play these old games which had no netcode, right? These games aren't being modified, right? It's not like they're taking the ROM of the Mega Drive version of Mortal Kombat 1 and rejigging it with netcode in it. What they're doing is essentially like old school, like what was it? Was it Hamster? I know Tungle. I'm trying to. No, Hamachi. Sorry, Hamachi and Tungle. What it does is it makes the game think that you're playing the person physically next to you, right? It thinks that somebody else has picked up a controller next to you and are playing. But what it does is it takes that and it makes it think that that's happening, but it's actually doing a network connection, right? And you don't have to modify the original files, which is awesome. So you can do it. It can easily be done, right?
Look at that. I'm going to get flawless by the computer. Oh! Yeah.
So
it can be done. I just think NRS doesn't want to do it because it would take away attention from their money maker right now. They don't want anybody playing anything else except for MK1. That wouldn't be smart for business, but the fans want it, and of course they're not going to give us what we want, at least until MK1 is like in its grave, you know.
Yeah.
And they don't have anything else to make money off of. Then of course they'll be like, hey, look what we're finally doing after 30 years.
Yeah, I mean they did have an arcade collection, you know, which
I'm getting brutality.
Nice. Which I kind of like. I still don't understand why they didn't put MK3 in there. You know, like why not have MK3? So then you've got the differences between the two. You know, because they did make some radical changes apart from roster, obviously increased, but they did modify, you know, certain abilities or skill combos, you know, between the two games. So that's something that they should do as well. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't have MK3 in there. I know MK3 was such a big departure because we didn't have, you know, some of the staple characters that were in there. But you know, it was kind of. I think they should have that, but yeah, I think they're just sitting on a pile of money. You know.
Yeah.
Sitting on a pile of money, you know, they're obviously very popular because, you know, people get those 1-up machines, you know, which you can play online, I believe, and and play these games, you know, because I'm pretty sure it's in. Yeah, I think Daryl's done it with his ones, you know. So it's just, I know why they're doing it, but at the same time, you know, money's money, right? Like, you know, are they? I think I know some people will sit there and fucking MK9 was out, you know, you'd be complaining about this. No, I wouldn't, because what people don't understand is that from the Mortal Kombat fan perspective, MK9 felt like a complete package. It doesn't matter if there was some broken Cyrax Infinite or some dumb shit like that, because they obviously would patch that out. They would fix that, right? So that's a non-issue. What is the issue is whether or not there is, like, you know, content or not. So just give me 1 second.
Take your time.
1 second.
Computer is brutal after the third fight unless you do the jump back technique where you wait and sweep and jump back and hook, and I don't want to play like that. But what is going on?
Alright, I am back.
Welcome back, sir.
Let's turn the camera on. There we go. Oh, no, that's sharing the screen. That one, that's the one we want. Excellent. Cool. So now, if anyone actually wants to jump in, hang on. Let me turn on the Jaeger Day. Where is it? Here we go. Boom. So if anyone actually wants to get in at some point, you're more than welcome. We'll give you access to be able to jump in. There is a backstage area which you could jump into, and then we simply can just drag you into the actual live, and you can talk or whatever. So let's check out.
If you would give me just a minute or two, and I will return.
All right, that's cool. It's gonna leave me alone. This is the banning. He's just banning me. All right, so let's check out the comments. What have we got? Ryu says Soul Calibur 6 had one of the best content in fighting games, I think, personally. Customization is amazing. True. Also, hang on. Yep. Customization is amazing. Fighters have never been nerfed, as far as I know. Epic roster, also MK Armageddon. Yep. So, and that's the thing, right? Is that the customization in Soul Calibur 6 was not only just great, but also the sharing of those characters, like the customization of that as well. So that was a community building system, right? That would allow people to to build, to create and build and share, whatever they've made, which is really awesome. Like that sort of stuff needs to return. I don't think Tekken's is as strong as what Soul Calibur 6 was offering. There's certainly no way to share, I don't think, anyway, unless they've patched it in and I just missed it. But yeah, no, it was amazing. And of course, Armageddon, this is the other thing I've been advocating for, is the fact that all these gear stuff that they do for their fighting game, with both MK1 and MK11, they need to just funnel that into another creator fighter, allow us to share our creations with anyone, which would be really awesome. Even have a creator fighter only part of online play. And also to have a tower that randomly generates fighters that you can fight either with your creator fighter or a standard character. It's not hard. There are so many things that they have created with the systems, their own systems, that they could just make absolutely bonkers, right? Absolutely bonkers. It's like when you play random combat in MK9, and you had all the different modifiers appearing. I liked what they did in MK9. I didn't like it in MK10. It just felt weird. I preferred it in MK9. It just felt better. I don't know why.
I'm back.
All right, cool, man. Excellent. The Ink says now we just need fuck K for MK players to meet and play with each other. True. I don't know why MK9 can't get remastered. How is Street Fighter confident in Street Fighter 6 still getting played even with releasing old versions? Well, that's because legacy. So, if you played, the last time you ever played Ryu in Street Fighter was, say, what was it? Say Street Fighter 2 Champion, right? You can pick up Street Fighter 6 and you can play Ryu. Because it's the same buttons, same button layout, same abilities, right, at the base level. And then, of course, you just add on to that by learning more about, what's actually going on, right? That's the difference. There's no legacy in Mortal Kombat past once the 3D era started. Because as soon as John Tobias was out, Ed Boon's like, right, now we're going to make our Tekken. Right, we're going to make our Tekken, and we ended up with, that's like, as much as MK, like the 3D era MK games feel like Mortal Kombat, not when it comes to the combat. I don't like it. I didn't like that at all. It was such a massive departure, and it was a joke. And it was so much of a joke that by the time we got around to Armageddon, everything that they took out, they put back, right? Whether it be like the increase in the violence and fatalities again, to adding in sweeps and uppercuts. They modified the game back to the stuff that people got used to, because they tried way too hard to reshape the wheel, and it failed. That's why Deception was amazing, because Deception was course correcting, or at least the start of course correcting that. So
yeah, I completely agree that MK went towards Tekken when it went 3D. And I kind of lost. I didn't like it as much, to be honest.
No.
I know a lot of people here. They grew up on it. It was their first MK, and that's great. But for me personally, I like the 2D. MK1, the real MK1, 1992.
Yep.
MK2, MK3, UMK3, MK Trilogy, and I'll even put MK4 in there.
Yep.
Because it still felt like Mortal Kombat, but MK Deadly Alliance and on felt like Tekken.
Yep. So Devantizzle... Oh, yeah, go on, sorry.
That was it.
Oh, okay. So Devantizzle says that I thought MK3 had too many city-like stages, should have been more like MK2 and MK1. Yeah, so obviously what they were trying to do with MK3 was like... And of course, again, a little bit of course correction in Ultimate, when they started bringing some of a couple of extra fantastical stages. I think they were just trying to showcase what it was like in an invasion, You know, like being on the street, you know, seeing the Shao Kahn's tower in the background, that kind of thing. And again,
Well, Earthrealm was
you know, again, it
sorry,
kind of
Earthrealm was under attack.
yeah, yeah. Although interestingly enough, like, you know, you look at stages like the bank, and they're really pristine. You know what I mean? So like, if you had the option, if I was in charge and I had the option to do it again, I would probably make things like the bank look really like destroyed. You know, like, you know, because there's an invasion, there's all this chaos happened, and then the bank is like pristine. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, they kind of sort of, yeah. I think in MK9, when they had like the rooftop stages, they had different variations, you know, and I think that was pretty good. One thing I'd actually like, speaking of variations, just quickly on stages, is that when I was playing Grand Blue the other day, and some other fighting games do this, that you'll start off, say, daytime here, and then the next round might be nighttime, or the next round might be repositioned over here looking this way, or then repositioned over here looking this way. I think Mortal Kombat could do with that, something like that. So you have the Living Forest, right? You start off in the Living Forest daytime, and then the next round it's nighttime, right? And then things are becoming more violent, and then the third round, right? It repositions and goes over here. The problem with what they're doing is that there's no transition screen anymore, right? Even a quick fade in, fade out, right?
You're not allowed to use that word.
I know. So when you start a second round in like these classic games or whatever, it's you know, it's just like, yep, they're restanding there again, okay. But what they've done now, and they did this in the 3D era, is that like they needed like a get up animation, you know, and stuff like that. So while that's kind of cool, I wouldn't care if they just went back to a faster, you know, match, like round finish, boom, let's get in the next one, straight up. You know, you could have on match start, you know, like in round one, you could have like some little animation that they do, you know, just like a win pose that they have at the end, but it has to be in the same speed as it's saying round one fight. That's the only way it will work, right? Nice and quick. It's part of the process of getting into the fight, which is round one fight, and then that's it, right? Let's get in and out of the fights really fast. Part of the problem with MK1, everything takes forever, right?
Yes.
And that's because they thought they were geniuses by bringing in like conversation between each other. Now, if you want to have them standing there, you know, and say something, sure, maybe, but I wouldn't do that anymore either. I would simply just not entertain any sort of dialogue. I think the dialogue is stupid and gay. It's not necessary. It just wastes time. Everyone just clicks through it after a while anyway, because it's not, who gives a shit? Who gives a, like, as if you're gonna fucking sit there and rubbing forearms against each other, having a conversation about something meaningless. It doesn't happen. Part of it is just like squaring up, like Scorpion, like sort of like does like a flame fist, and Sub-Zero could do like an ice fist or whatever, right? And then squaring up, fight, and then boom, you go straight in. Like that's what they need. That's what they need to get back to, nice and simple, and quick, you know, for that sort of thing. But the stage variations, I think, would be awesome. I think, you know, because that would add extra depth, you know, because we have variations right now in MK1. It's just that they're not connected, right? So what we have is we have a variation for, you know, like the tea house. You know, there's a couple of versions of the I think 3 versions now of the tea house. So why don't they make it each round? You can still choose which one you want to start on when you're playing a two-player match or whatever. But if you're just fighting the AI or online or whatever, at least have the option to have it sequential, you know. Imagine that. That'd be fucking cool. You know, and then as it goes on, you know, it gets sort of like progressively worse and worse, or things get more crazy, you know. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yep.
So Sherlock also comes back and he says that what Capcom did was always very cool, but a remake would be better in my opinion. So the only way I'll approve of a remake for Mortal Kombat is if they make sure that the combat feel is 1-to-1. Right? When you press high kick, it feels like you're pressing high kick in MK2 with Scorpion, whether it's the remake version or the original version. And the only way that works is if you build completely 1-to-1 on top. They did it with a couple of games. They did it with Wonder Boy 3 Dragon's Trap. They did it with Alex Kidd in Miracle World, where, and also things like Halo, where you can simply by pressing a button, you can swap to the old one instantly, and it's only visual that changes. It doesn't change the gameplay. It's only visual. Now, I would add, to make the older 2D games easier, I would add the option in to have like some sort of generic fighting system that makes it easier for people to play the older 2D games, right? Without that cheap, because we know, right, dude? Like the old 2D games are very cheap. So I would have 2 AI options that you could choose from, so that way people could play the old 2D games, just like how you can play Mugen games that have their own AI system, and you don't feel like you're having to just only play a tiny, vertical slice way to beat the AI in these classic games. I wouldn't be against that, because then that's choice, just like how they have modern controls. A choice, but it's got to play 1-to-1. It's got to play 1-to-1.
Don't screw with the foundation.
Yeah.
Leave it alone.
Yep.
And I think that's what Mortal Kombat's crutch has been over the past 10 years or more, is that they want to keep changing things up. Let's add a gimmick. Let's change all the buttons around. Let's make Katana's projectile completely different. Let's change all of this. Let's keep changing. Like, no, you need to slow down and stick to your roots, and you'll make a good game.
Yep.
Quit trying to satisfy everyone, right? And just make a game yourself. Don't listen to, the losers on the internet that tell you need to have up plus 37 block on a frame that's -2, blah, blah, bitty, blah, blah. Just make a game, put it out. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't.
Yep, that's right. So let's continue with some of these. Don't forget, guys, if you want in, just let me know. I'll actually double check the Discord and just make sure nobody's waiting. We do actually have someone waiting. We've got Puff Dicky in here. We're going to drag him in. There we go. How you going, Puff? What's happening, bro?
Puff the magic dragon, live by the sea.
I don't know if he's realised I've dragged him in yet. Here we go. Let's see.
You're not supposed to grab people without permission, right?
Listen. I got it down here. There we go. How you going, man? What's happening, bro?
What's good? I have a question.
Go for it.
What's up?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
What's your question?
Oh,
Hit us.
Unless he's cutting out. He might be cutting out.
I think you might be cutting out.
wait, is it, or is it?
We can't really hear you. We hear like every third word.
Yep. Yeah, every third word, yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a question. Like, so you said you want, like, what? Hold on. Hello?
Yep. Yeah, you good, man?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cool.
Wait, is it because the stream is on in the background?
No, man. We've been doing the stream just fine.
Yeah, you're good. Yep.
Hold on.
You might have to mute your stream.
Yeah, there's a delay between streaming and YouTube. I think it's like 20 seconds. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, cause I turned that off. The YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably better so it doesn't conflict like audio wise. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my question was, would you want the games for future NRS games to be like MK9 or like the classic MKs?
In what particular part of the game?
Well,
like in general or gameplay or?
Well, gameplay, things like that. Because now future NRS games are like kind of like MKX, where it's more based around 50-50s, whereas MK9 was more based around, other, like, I felt like it was more classic.
Yeah.
Like how old classic MKs used to play. So.
Yeah. I think as far as gameplay goes, 100% classic. I like to, and I mean, again, sort of, maybe I'm just showing my simple side here, but like, I liked it that when you blocked say what like one of the dialing combos, you know, like what they brought in MK3, you block the whole thing. You know, even if like, you know, that Liu Kang combo that he does, like he kind of like does like, was it like 3 like punches or elbows, and then he does like this kick, these like 4 kicks I think it is at the end. It looks fucking looks great.
High punch, block, low kick, high kick, low kick.
There you go. Right. Show off. Anyway, so you blocked it, right? So you held your block button and you blocked that fucker. You didn't have to worry about ducking, you know, or anything like that. I'm not against an overhead singular attack, you know, things like that to get you out of you sitting there turtling. But you know, constantly like, you know, the guesswork. I don't think you need it. You know, in at least in Mortal Kombat anyway. Like that feels like it's kind of a 3D fighter thing for me. I definitely prefer 2D classic. You know, just because it just felt like tighter gameplay. You know, more precise. You know, gameplay for me. Yeah, I don't know, but that's just my opinion. Yeah.
I agree, but I think what from what I was hearing is the reason they made it like 50-50 basis because people like everything was so easy to block. Yeah, everything was so easy to block, so he was like, okay, we need some way for people to open people up. But the thing is, like what you said, if it was just you have one singular attack that was an overhead.
Yep.
So you don't like get conversions off of it.
Yeah.
You know, and for some reason in MK1, that's how it was at first. Not every character, but for the most part, they didn't make overheads like have everybody pop up off of them and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Then they just perverted it. They went back to the MKX style where now overheads are like more scary to block and because like you can see in the movesets of the characters like Shang Tsung, who else? Like I went back to MK9 and I saw. Okay, they played like they went back to MK9 with the movesets with these characters because they looked similar, but they, you know, retweaked it, redefined it. But then out of nowhere, I don't know why they just decided to make it like you said, like 50-50. I missed the style where it was just
if you're gonna make
just one overhead, this and that.
If you're going to make a complex video game that requires that overhead, low overhead stuff like Tekken, you have to do it right. And Mortal Kombat's never been able to do it right. Because everything brings you in like a magnet, right? In Mortal Kombat, when you play MKX, MK11, or MK1, it's like your fighters, the two fighters are drawn to one another like a magnet if one move hits, right? So it like pulls you in, and then you've got overhead, low, sweet, you know, then cameo, which protects you, and then you start the overhead, low, overhead, over again. It's annoying, like to me. Like I think that's like they don't know how to do that part right. They can do it right. And to answer your other question about would I want a Mortal Kombat, what type of Mortal Kombat game I would want? Honestly, I want 2 games. I want a classic made one, but if they're gonna do a modern one, then they need to get rid of the gimmicks and just stick to fighting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, get rid of the gimmick combat. I'll take you know, another game. Like, well, it's hard to say that because I don't know what they're going to do to the characters. But it's like I want a fighting game that feels like I'm playing a fighting game, not a fighting game where I'm playing rock paper scissors.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I want to play rock paper scissors, I'll go play rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's why. No, you go.
Yeah. I was done.
Well, like that's what the Tekken people were crying about because Tekken was never about, like you said, rock paper scissors. It was more about like spacing and having people do something stupid and then with punishing it.
Yeah.
Now they have to deal with what we've been dealing with since MKX, and now they don't know how to deal with it. And they're crying about it, and I'm like, I wish the MKX people would have cried about this as much as they do because I've never seen a community cry as much or complain as much about the game and wanting it to change as much as Tekken. I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
They actually were boycotting it.
Most people say that it's 50-50. No, they're doing their math wrong. Anyone that says that it's a 50-50 game is not accurate. It's actually a 16-by-5 game. 16 by 16 by 16 by 16 by 16. You have overhead, low, forward throw, back throw, and then command grab. That's a 5-way guess, not a 50-50.
That's true. That's Tekken's never been like that. At least in my knowledge, it's never been all about like that type of gameplay. It's always been about how good can you space people out and things like that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Earn your damage.
sidestepping.
Yeah. Earn
Yeah.
your damage. Earn your punishes. Not luck. Right? And but
agree.
yeah, it's not a 50-50 game anymore. It hasn't been for a while.
See, in Granblue, right? Like, so you, at the end of like, I was teaching this to Ringy the other day that, so you do like a standard combo. If you're on top of them, you start pressing whatever button, light, medium, heavy. You'll just go bang, 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 right? And if you press forward on when the last hit is a medium, you'll do a low. If the last hit is heavy on pressing forward, you'll do an overhead, right? And so what that does is it's like, hey, I'm here. It's like tapping someone on the head. It's like you can't just sit there and just block this shit, right? That's the guesswork. That's the guesswork that I can handle, because that's at the end of the combo, not in the middle of it, which then allows another pathway in different ways. Just like with Reiko, like he's got I love that fucking overhead. It's just like a smack, fuck you, just right over the top. It just lets them know, hey, you can't sit there and turtle. I don't care about comboing off it. I care about just letting them know that they can't just sit there and hold block and and whatever. So I'm not against overheads, or the only low I'll accept standing block is a sweep, just like classic MK. That's the only one I'll accept, because that's what it used to be. You used to have, if you stood blocking, they could get you by sweeping, right? So that kept you on your toes as well. And that simplifies it, right? So even though it sounds like it's simplifying everything down, what it does is it then opens things up and goes, okay, well, what can I now do? How do I open this guy up? How do I get him out of it? And that's the thing. Go ahead. No, you're good. You're good.
I was just going to say, the people that say in the original games you can't open anyone up without an overhead or low, they're mistaken as well, because on a high level, there's something called the run-up punches, right? It's a technique that was invented way back by me and a few others. I'll take some credit on it, because it was back in the day, and we were beating the shit out of people with it, and then they learned it, and I can't take all the credit, but I was part of it. Basically, turtling back then was a defensive style that a lot of people did, and you're like, yeah, I can't open you up. Well, I'm just going to run up and punch you to death. Mm-hmm. And then whenever you let go of block, you have two options. You can either tap kick, or you can let me throw you. And then the tap kick, I can also counter by a kick combo to knock you out of that. So there was a lot of ways to open your opponent up with chip damage. Yeah. It's just most people didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, chip.
Plus, we didn't have the technology back then to look this stuff up. All those other things.
Like chip damage in on itself is going to open people up, because they're going to see that fucking health going down and 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 down. Right. So they can sit there and turtle and do absolutely nothing in return, and it will take time, but you'll kill them. Right. Yep. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry, man.
So how did y'all come up with that the technique? Did y'all go to arcades and be like, hey, block this, let's see if this works? Because I know a lot of people in NRS today do that.
That's a wonderful question. That's like the best question of the night so far. And it's really simple. Back then, we were a community of teachers as well. Our mission was to make everyone good at the game. So if you found someone at the arcades or on X-Band, or hell, we used to, people would drive all over the United States, and we'd have what was called a real party, right? And we would all get together, all of us, this massive community of people, and we would teach each other, and we would show each other, and hoping the next time that we faced them, either at an arcade or on the X-Band, that they would kick the crap out of you from what you taught them. That's what we did.
Yeah.
I'm being a little fun here, but I wanted one of my Padawans to beat the crap out of me. Right? I taught so many people how to play Mortal Kombat 3, it's ridiculous.
Wish we had that today. I mean, we do, but it's not as prevalent no more.
The pros today spit on you and then tell you to go cry in a corner and get good. That's what we have today.
Yeah.
I think they just feel like they put so much time and effort into their game that when you have somebody random saying this needs to get fixed, this and that, they're like, go just lab, and things like
Yeah,
that.
that's their job. They made that their profession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So shut up whenever you're talking down to people,
And-
and be a role model. Be somebody that they can look up to, not someone that spits down at them.
Like I
But
can
you can understand it.
Yeah. Go ahead, sorry, mate.
No, I'm saying I can understand where they're coming from because, like
Yeah.
you said, they put so much time into it
Yep.
that they feel like anybody that talks or tries to downplay what they do for their game and stuff is like kind of a throwback to them. Like, you know how much effort I put into this game. I'm traveling for it. I'm learning it and things like that. To have somebody that's like random saying, "Oh, this, and that," you know what I'm saying? I can understand it, but at the same time, everybody plays the game.
Right. Everyone has an opinion, and
Yeah.
for some strange reason, these pros get their pennies in a bunch whenever a non-pro tells them that they want something changed or whatnot. So they need to grow
Yeah.
up. They need to act like professionals if this is their job, right? And if somebody comes up to them and says, "Hey, man, you're the reason why, like I can't do plus 15 on blah blah blah." I'm just making an example. That individual, that pro, doesn't have to take it to heart. They can just say, "Well, all right, man, that's the way you feel. Well, have a nice day." But they don't do that.
Yeah.
They step on
Like-
that person instead.
I agree with the most MK1 complaints that there wasn't much content in the beginning, but when they said like if Invasions wasn't content, I'm like, it's still content, it's just boring content, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know who mentioned it, but they said like there's no content in the game. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not the best, but it's still content, you know what I'm saying?
But if we beg
I
for
wish they
crumbs,
would've-
crumbs are what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
If we ask for crumbs, we're gonna get crumbs. So why not ask for more?
Yeah. And it's
But to be fair,
yeah.
we didn't have like seasons and stuff in, like the other previous NRS games. Like we only got character packs and that was it. We didn't get like anything to grind for. We couldn't even earn skins in Combat League or other.
we were
else.
happy.
Yeah,
You didn't like the seasons?
No. Like, the Invasions thing is fine. I do it every time. I had 650 hours on my PS5, and then the WB servers crashed, and they lost everything that I did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's fun. Everything
You
I
can't-
had was
You
gone.
can't like send a ticket or nothing? Like,
No,
don't you have,
I
like-
sent me and all right. This is a funny story. So I lost everything. So I wrote WB. Their first email said, "We're sorry, but there's nothing they can do." After 27 emails, I got most of my stuff except for the Invasions. I got everything else but Invasions.
Yep.
Oh, that's.
But their first ticket, it is impossible for us to get anything back for you after this error. And I have all 27 emails still on my computer. It took 27 emails, but then to give me back the dragon crystals, even the stuff that I paid money for, they weren't going to give me back anything. So I harassed them for 27 emails, and I finally got everything back except for the invasion skins. That's
Yep.
it. They weren't
I
even
get-
going to give me Shang Tsung back.
Yeah, because what
Wait.
because what happened was that when he got MK1 on PC, there's that transfer that you can do, right? Or at least like lining up the account, and the server crashed like on their end and glitched, and he lost like everything everywhere.
Yep.
Like on
All
both
my
his
Hogwarts
console
stuff.
and then also on MK1 and his Hogwarts stuff as well. So
Everything linked to WB was lost.
and they were just gonna wipe their
So
hands
you
of
could,
it.
so you could transfer like content on different platforms with them. Oh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cross progression
Yeah, cross progression.
if it works.
Yep.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
at least you can do that with that. But at least
But-
there's gonna be more. I guess they're gonna release the same invasion seasons, but all that progress is gone. So I guess you got to regrind it.
Yeah,
Hopefully they
that's
re-
what I.
Yeah.
Hey, I got plenty of movies to watch and music to make, and I just play Invasions while I do other projects.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a tedious grind though. It's so
Yeah.
numbing.
We were
Just want
talking
that
about
one thing.
content. We were talking about
Yeah.
content, and this is something I'd like to bring up, and I'm included in this. right? Mortal Kombat 1 since 1992, MK2, MK3, MK4, all these games. We had all this stuff, and we didn't have a lot of content, right? We just had the fighting and each other, and we weren't bitching. Now today, we have all this, we have content. It may not be great content, but at least there's something else, and we're not happy about it. So that's a gamer mentality problem. I think all of us kind of share that a little bit, right? We went from having nothing, just the characters, 2 skins. You had to press start to get the other skin, right? That's all we had, and we were completely happy, right?
Yep.
But now most gamers are entitled. They see all these other games have the same this, and that. They want the same thing. And
Correct.
there was a thing where people were complaining about the DLC characters taking long, and I'm like, MK1 is one of the few games, or Mortal Kombat, that releases characters monthly. Most fighting games, like Street Fighter, takes like 5 months between characters to release. Tekken takes the same time. I'm like, at least be grateful that they at least release characters every month. Like,
I
you know
don't
what I'm saying?
mind. I like the drip of the characters. I just don't like the guest characters.
You don't like none of the guest characters? None of them?
Well, I mean, what you consider a guest character, Peacemaker's funny, but we already have Johnny Cage. Homelander and Omni-Man, man, I could care less. Right? And T-1000, I actually, yeah, it's cool, man. A lot of people like Homelander. Remember, he was top 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 top players at one of these tournaments. Everybody played Homelander.
Not because they liked him. I think it was just because how broken he was. But I get your point.
Yeah. And, some people like it. I think Homelander's a great character on The Boys. Is he an evil Superman? Sure. But, it's just, it doesn't fit for me. But it does fit for other people. So I respect their opinion.
Again, it's one of these things that NRS are obviously very capable of creating, like, non-MK characters. But I think that effort should be put into its own, like, guest fighter, or something like that. Where
that'd be amazing.
Where and I'd buy it. I'd support it, right? Because then that's not the problem with NRS, like, developing more than essentially one fighting franchise, is that Injustice infected MK, not the other way around. So when Injustice came out, like after MK9, then we got 10, and 10 was including stuff that was in Injustice, like bouncing off stuff or throwing things, and it's like, meh.
I just had a cool thought. A minute ago, you asked, what future game would you like from NRS? You know what I want? I want NRS to make me a Terradrome-like game with every horror character in it.
I was just about to say that. Once you mentioned the horror characters, I'm like, doesn't Terradrome exist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I bet you, imagine a story mode wrapped around the most evil people in the world. Pinhead, Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, you keep going on the list, and it's just some kind of weird, doesn't have to be Mortal Kombat type of game. I would love it. It would be great.
It's like a RPG, but horror. Or a battle royale, make it like Rivals or something.
I think, there's one thing that I think NRS does very well, and that's cinema for their games. They tell good stories. I know, Faye, you don't like the MK1 story that much. I actually like it. I don't like the whole time traveling, multi-universe, blah 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 thing.
That's where it lost me. Yeah.
Right, the actual art and the story and the way they carry it and the chapters and how they manage it. Just make a game. I don't know, like you said a second ago, an RPG or a open world type of game. I really think
another Shaolin Monks?
Yeah, that would be great. But I think they need to step away from fighting, because like MK1 and MK11, they're not doing a good job.
Yeah, that's why I think MK needs like a long hiatus. It needs to sit for 7 to 8 years. I think the next game should be Injustice 3, personally. Even though I know it left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth, mainly because of the zoning and things like that. But
I'd still take an Injustice 3. Yeah, I'd take an Injustice 3 over another broken Mortal Kombat.
You're like one of the few people that I know that says that. Every time I mention it, people are like, oh no, I want MK. But how many times do you keep playing MK? Most likely it's going to be the same as MK1, just maybe without the cameo,
Yep.
which still people want. Yeah, I'm like, I think people just have fatigue. You know what I'm saying? It's two MK games back to back, and people already don't like MK that much. Like most people complain about it. So why not just reinvent yourself with Injustice? You know, because like even though MK1 isn't the best competitive fighting game, it did improve certain things from 11, mechanics wise. Because they listen to the pros. Some stuff like they're gonna complain about, like the wake up options and stuff. But most of the things they did fix, and I think NRS slowly could like make a good fighting game. It just takes a lot of time. Like I think MK1 without the tag stuff or the cameo would have been an excellent fighter.
It would have been a lot better, yeah.
It would have been better as the 1v1. My problem with MK1 is they killed the jumping game. Jumping has always been a part of Mortal Kombat, and in MK1, just stay on the ground. If you jump, you're going to get slaughtered.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made the up block mechanic. I mean, we don't need it.
Oh.
They just can make. Yeah.
Everything counters jumping. You can do, if someone jumps at you and you do a proper standing one, you can then call out your cameo and then pull out a whole combo. Like I get it. Like back in the day when you jump, I can uppercut you or roundhouse you or straight kick you, right? But in this game, it's like, oh, you get caught and all of a sudden 50% of your life is gone just for jumping.
Yeah.
I think it was like that in all NRS games, not just MK1.
No.
I think so.
In my opinion,
the cameo thing made it more stupid because now it extends and things like that.
If you're saying MK9 through MK1, then I agree with you. But if you're talking about the old school games,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not the earlier ones.
Yeah,
I think,
if you're talking MK9 through MK1, then yeah, I agree.
I think cameos, like, and I said this ages ago, cameos should have been like a personal buff to your character.
Yeah.
That's all they did. So, for example, right? Well, actually, there's two ideas, right? But this is what I would have preferred. There's an old Ed Boon interview where he talks about the cameos, where he's like, "Oh, we wanted to have like Sonya have like a little drone, right, or something like that to that effect." And he's like, "But then that's going to look silly on Sub-Zero or something." And it's like, yeah, but you don't. What you do is every character's cameo is unique to the character. For example, Scorpion might have like some little fire demon, right? That applies buffs to him, right? That he can then use against the opponent, right? Sub-Zero would be a fun one. He could have like a floating like orb, like a ball of ice, right? And then depending on which direction you press, it materializes from that into his hand as an ice weapon. So you look at the ice weapons that he's had over the years. He's had like a sword, an axe, a hammer possibly. So so he then gets access to ice weapons, from that cameo, and the cameo itself is unique to the actual character itself. It makes sense for the character itself. It can't be used on any other character. That would have been awesome. Rather than using that cameo to attack the other person, it's like an extension special move of your character, like applying, like attaching a weapon or something like that. That would have been far better, because then you could have a lot of fun with that. It would have been awesome.
You just basically described Injustice because trait is exclusive to the character. That's part of their kit.
Yep.
That's why I like Injustice. And when you're playing MK1 story mode, Scorpion has the Spectre.
Yep.
And Raiden has the electric guy. Let's just do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could do that.
I like
That would have been better.
Puff, I got to show you something. You're a huge Injustice fan, right?
Yeah, I played it a lot.
Hold on. I got to show you
Siege,
something.
that's why. Yeah.
Which one do you love?
Yeah.
Injustice 1 or 2? What's your favorite?
I like 2 more, but I like both. And speaking of Injustice, do y'all know like the story of Injustice, like the first one?
It was alright. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, so I mean,
Because people
you go.
most people saying, okay, if they make another Injustice, what would the story be about? And I was saying, what about like an evil Shazam, right? He finds out Superman killed him, and like the timeline he was in or whatever, and he just goes on like this rampage. You know, he recruits people to like take out Superman, even though this Superman might be good or whatever. You know, there's so many like ways they can change the story. It doesn't need to be just about evil Superman.
Yeah, true.
And I think people,
yeah, they have so much at their fingertips. There's so much potential. All right, do we have a bubble chat in this? Yeah, we do. Okay. Well, if you want to take a look in the bubble chat, I want to show you this, man. I'm a huge Injustice fan as well.
Let me,
it's rare seeing a fan like
There you go.
Injustice.
The bubble chat.
let me just
If you check, yeah.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, all right. Just want to make sure there was nothing in the bubble chat that was bad.
Yeah.
There
If
we
you
go.
want to show everybody,
Yeah,
you know,
no,
if you want to,
they can see it. Yep, they can see it. Yep, everyone can see it.
Yeah.
Where
I
is it?
thought in the bubble chat, like right where it says the fake cast live, there's a little bubble and then a gear.
Oh,
think I see
Breezy's in the chat. How you going, man?
You said a bubble?
Well, now it's on the stream. If you look, yeah, they're like if you see where we're at in the room that we are in, right at
Okay.
the top where it says the fake cast / live, right next to it, there's a bubble and a gear.
I just see our names. And then it says the backstage. I'll look at it. I'll take a look at it. Is it like
I'll just send it to you.
not
yeah,
safe for work? So
No, it's safe for everyone. I think it's on the stream right now.
Yep, yeah, it's all fine.
I'll just send it to you. As long as you're my bro and you let me see. It says wave to. All right, hold on. But yeah, I've always been a fan. Like, I actually really liked Injustice 1. Like, I think I could play that all day.
what is there something particular you liked about it more than 2?
I didn't like the loot box system and the gear system.
Mm.
And all the grinding and all
Yeah,
the, you know,
that was
opening
terrible.
the mother boxes, and it just took too long.
I think they fixed that in a 3rd one. Because I know NRS doesn't listen to a lot, but they do listen if people complain a lot. You know, like, look at Sub-Zero. The character got buffed like 30 times because people kept crying. Then you saw Melina and MK11. People kept crying about her not being in the game. If you cry enough, they're going to fix it eventually. They're like, okay, we need to make money, so let's do what people want.
I think they need to stop listening and just make their own game. Make their game,
Yeah.
and because people crying, they'll cry about everything. You can't satisfy everyone. So you've got a group of people. Let's just use this as an example. You said Sub-Zero and Injustice. You've got one half of the people saying, "Oh, Sub-Zero's fine. He's the way he is. Don't mess with him." And then you've got another part of the people that say, "Well, Sub-Zero's broken and blah 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 blah." So then they satisfy the people that are crying the loudest, and then they upset another group of people, and those people start crying, and then they just keep the process going over and over again.
That's true.
And just make your game. I mean, look what From Software does. The people that make Dark Souls, they make their game, and then people cry because it's too hard, and they're like, "Well, that's why we make the game. Get over it."
That's why I'm playing them.
I love those games because the developers are like, "Look, we're going to give you a product, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry, but we're not going to change it to satisfy you." They
As far as
just
they don't
do
get
that.
canceled. They didn't listen
Dude, they're
to it.
successful. They're successful for not doing it. They stick to their guns, and people respect them for it. They don't. Remember when McDonald's, back in like the late '90s, people started suing McDonald's because they got too fat? Well, then McDonald's broke and acted like bitches and started selling salads.
I didn't even know
It's
that
like,
was a thing.
Oh yeah, man. Like, you know, the
Going to a fast food
customer.
fatality is crazy.
The customer's always right, but not every, you know, I don't know about that. I mean, they are right when it comes to the product and their opinion, but when you got people that are, you know, especially these pros that are financially involved in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course they're going to want to push their agenda and push what character makes them better and push for what character that hurts them the most to be weaker. You know, it's just part of the game. And these developers listen to them, and now look at the state of Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah.
It's an
People don't want to play. Dude, there's only like 1,400 people in the world on Steam playing Mortal Kombat 1.
I mean, it is a fighting game. I don't know many people that play fighting games on PC, but I get what you're saying. I wish it was bigger, because I don't know how Street Fighter does that well on PC, but not Mortal Kombat.
Street Fighter's in like the 40,000 range.
That's crazy. That's
And
like
that's
the
because-
first time I heard a fighting game be that successful on PC.
Yep.
For the most part,
Uh,
it's just never a thing.
Yeah, can you look at the live players right now? That's not true mostly. I hear you, Breezy. He's always there. Hi, Breezy. Love you.
Hang on, let me see. I'm actually going to try and see if I can get Injustice
Mostly.
on the screen. So what are we looking at? Street Fighter? Street Fighter 6?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Last time I looked, it was like 40,000. The Mortal Kombat's
people,
1,500.
They really watch that game.
Yeah.
Like
And
a lot
why
of
do they
people
like
watch
it?
Street Fighter.
Why do they like it? Because it's a solid fighting game. It's Street Fighter. It's always been Street Fighter. I can throw a Hadouken the same way I threw a Hadouken back in 1994.
So
That's
right,
true.
so currently right now at this hour, so I'm assuming, how late is it for you guys in America? Because there'd be a big population.
9 o'clock here.
Yeah, so it's about
It's like
12,000.
6 p.m.
It's about 12,000.
Only 12 right now?
on Steam. It's about 12,000 on Steam
Yeah.
right now.
That's not bad.
Usually the population, at least in Australia, during the day at this time, they start going down because of other regions in the world. Let's look at Tekken. I don't know if Tekken 8 took much of a hit.
You'd think it would. How much they cried.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm never playing this game again. Turn it back on 2 days later.
So Tekken's got 4,566, right? Still, at the moment. And then Mortal Kombat 1, what did I say it was earlier? Like 1,500? 1,400, 1,500, I think? Oh no, it was, so it's 1,800. 1,841 right now for Mortal Kombat 1. So...
Even in tournaments, I don't think it was that big, MK. Compared to like Street Fighter and other fighting games.
So let me just throw this out there since Breezy wanted to ask a question. He says, who's asking changing characters to benefit them other than Sonic? Dude, you're not seeing the whole group of fucking people going and whining to developers, and that's why they make the changes? They wouldn't just make the changes because one guy asked.
I mean, to be fair, Rewind, wasn't it Rewind that said that NRS actually listened to Sonic?
Of course.
So
No, I think Ninja Killer said that.
was it Ninja Killer, was it? Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is kind of wrong because most of the time Sonic's characters always got nerfed because they saw how broken it was or whatever. But I'm not saying they don't listen to him, but you know what I'm saying? It's,
Wait, I thought the pros were the ones that keep this alive, and they're the ones that provide the feedback, and they're the ones that get the changes made so that casuals can have a better time playing. So who's making the?
I think both. They
Which
try to
is
listen
it?
to both
Are
a
pros
little bit.
right? But are pros the ones that are saving the game and doing all this, right? Or is it both? Because according to the pros, they're the ones that keep the game alive and keep it functioning properly so everyone else can play it.
Who said
That's
that?
what they say. That's what they say. That's fucking what that's why they put casuals down, and they're like, you don't know what you're talking about because minus 15 on block is actually +3 and you don't right? It's annoying. It's annoying.
I got
like-
by the way, I got Injustice playing on screen. Like Injustice
Nice.
1 Ultimate Edition on PC. I just wanted to load it up because we've been talking about a bit of the Injustice, and I thought I'd just sort of jump in the character select screen. One of the things I do like is the fact that, like, if you look at previous NRS titles, their menus are a lot better than MK1's as well. You know, like even this menu here for Injustice 1 is pretty damn fucking good. You know, they did a really good job, you know, doing this menu setup. You know, it gets you really into the vibe of, you know, of it.
DC. Yeah.
But one of
Then
my
he went like a different version.
yeah, and yeah, so would you say it was the trait system? Is that what you said it was for
Yeah,
Injustice?
basically
Okay,
the same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So see, even the personalization, right? So one of the things they're doing it on this screen. They're doing an MK1. And I think they've done it on other MK games as well, except for the older MK games. Even behind the character portrait, had like a different theme background, right? In the NRS titles, they kind of done this very generic background now for the characters. But in Injustice, I'll give them this: when you choose a different character on the left side there, you actually do get a nice little animation in relation to the character. So I thought that was a really nice. That was a nice touch. It gives that character, a little bit of that identity. So, on the character select screen. Injustice 1. Can you see this? Can you see the? If you should be able to click on my stream, because I'm streaming it to you guys right now here, the game, and that's how I'm showing it onto the stream. You'll see the when you highlight a character on the left there where it's got their name, it's kind of got a nice little animation for each one, so which is kind of cool.
So you don't like the moving animation they do now, where like they're moving, like how like MK11 was.
So
they were.
So in MK1, when you choose a character and they walk in, they've all got their own unique animation when they walk in, right? Which is cool. But the problem with that is that you don't see the next characters. So if you choose, so the characters walk in, right? Okay, and you get the animation. But if you choose Reiko, you don't get to see that again, right? The only way you get to see that walk-in animation again is if you come back to that select screen after you've used Reiko in a match. Whereas in MK10, every time you chose a character, they'd have their walk-up animation every time. So you kind of got to see that little bit of personality. Whereas this time, just like how you can't select costumes, right? It's kind of like they've gone backwards with some of their stuff that they themselves previously set a precedent for, and it kind of sucks. Like
They definitely did
in that
for
regard. Sure. But yeah, I think Injustice 1's roster might be better than Injustice 2's. Possibly because I like Lobo as a character. I think Lobo's a fucking funny. He's a great fucking DC character, right? He's so funny.
Did you see the Krypton show with Lobo in it?
No, I didn't actually. Was it good?
Good. It was really good. I'm surprised it didn't get like a third season. It was, like, in my opinion, it's better than The Boys.
Oh, really?
Like, it's pretty good. Doomsday was in it.
Hey, Puff, did you get my DM?
Hold on. Did you this? Where do I go find that? Let me see.
Like a direct message. If you go all the way up to the top, there's a little face with two eyes. It says direct messages.
Hold on.
I don't know if you're using the app or the browser.
I'm using the app on. Hold on. Do I go to settings or so?
No. It should say up in the upper left-hand corner, direct message.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'll just.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. I had to shrink it because it was too big of a picture to go through Discord without paying for Nitro, so I had to shrink it down.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like Wonder Woman about to stab Batman?
Yeah, that's the. I had to order that from the UK because the statue that we got here in the US wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of cheaply made, but I saw the one in the UK and I was like, oh boy, yeah, let's go. Yeah, so I had to get it. That's basically.
Oh.
Yeah, boy.
So you have this in your collection? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Breezy. I gave you access, Breezy, if you want to jump in too. So.
Is this the only one you have? The only statue?
No, I've been a collector for 20 years.
Holy shit!
Instead of spending my money on alcohol and drugs, my wife's like, hey, do you want to get, she's happy with the fact that I get things like this instead.
Yeah.
Right. So
you got a rare one. Most women just love, for some reason, I don't want to get into it, but they love those type of things.
I married my out of high school sweetheart, man. We've been married for 16 years, and she's a real one. Like, she's a year older than me, so I got me a cougar. Oh yeah, all right. So, she's a real one. She's good. She's awesome.
Of all the things we didn't expect on the stream, it was that. So
I know.
even the graphics, like if you look here, so this is the PC version of Injustice 1. Even the graphics are pretty damn good, you know, considering the age of the game. Yeah, I think they've done a pretty good job, you know, with that, which is nice. So,
So you like the roster more because of Lobo?
I think so. Yeah, it feels like a Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I love the fucking Ninja Turtles though. Like that was pretty good, man.
I was one of
you
the
know.
few
And I did like,
first heard Ninja
and I did like Scarecrow. Like I'll load up the sequel now. I did love.
I like both.
I like Scarecrow as well. He was great to use too.
I really
I
enjoyed
remember
both
when they
games.
announced the Turtles. I was like, oh no, because I wanted Rorschach, and they made him look like Rorschach with the trench coat.
Oh yep.
I was kind of salty about it, but then over time I'm like, okay, they're all right. What's going on, gentlemen?
Who's your favorite? What's up, man? Who is your favorite character in Injustice to play?
It used to be Red Hood, but I don't know. I played so many of them. Black Manta was one of the. I really do like Black Manta. His story's kind of fucked. But I like pretty much every character in the roster most of the time, except for Dick Shot. You know, I can't stand that character.
I like a game where you can play the entire roster and have fun. You're not, you know, being locked down to just one or two characters. You pay $70 for a game, and you're like, I'm just going to play one character.
Yeah.
Right? That's fine if that's what they choose to do, but I like a game where I can experience the actual game, the whole thing.
Even this menu for Injustice 2, where Batman's walking up to his console looking out over the Earth, and the quality of what they've done just far exceeds what we got in MK1. Just even the menus, like even the menus itself is just far better. So
yeah, I'd like to be a Jack. Yeah, part 2 is a grind, but you know, I played over 5,000 matches with Sub-Zero, and I never got his UMK3 mask.
Me either. I'm like, bro, this guy's like rare as hell.
It pissed me off. Yeah.
They had like gear stats, which is one thing I didn't like about the game, is that so if you're a level 1, you fight somebody else like level 30, you just basically lose because they have, you know, higher stats and stuff. That's one thing I don't returning.
I kind of feel like this game's gonna make a liar out of me because I do like fucking Hellboy. Hellboy was great. I do like fucking Dr. Fate, and I do like Scarecrow. So yeah, I mean maybe they're on par. Maybe it's just I don't know.
We'll play some Injustice one day.
I really like. I think Scarecrow was fucking fun. I thought, and he looks really cool. So
yeah, I like both games. They were a solid product in my opinion. Now I'm not a pro. I'm just saying that as a customer. I'm just picking, man. That's all. It's just, you know, I enjoyed it as a whole, as like a product that I paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like so your favorite character in Justice 1 was Lobo. What was your dragon?
Catwoman. I like Green Arrow.
Of course.
Catwoman. Yeah. Well, leather, man. You got me. Kidding. But I liked playing as Green Arrow, Green Lantern. You know, and of course.
Yellow Lantern.
Yeah. It just. I liked all the characters. I didn't learn, like usually when I play a fighting game, I learn the entire roster. I know that sounds weird, but I'd rather be a jack of all traits and a master of none than play as one character and be freaking awesome with it. I just prefer to play everybody. So when I play with my friends, I don't just sit there and only know one character and beat the living snot out of people. I can actually play everybody. I learned the whole. Oh, go ahead, man.
What was the Bruce Lee quote? Fear the man that learns something like 1,000 kicks, or fear the man that learns one kick 1,000 times, or something along those lines.
Yeah, I'd be afraid of the guy that can kick me 15, 20 different times. In different ways, right? Stick your foot up your ass, you don't know what happened.
True.
But, yeah, I liked Injustice, and I'm in the minority. I liked MK11.
I liked it too. It's frustrating. And like competitive. It was overall good. I did like it.
I feel the same way about MK11 and MK1. It's just it's a game that I like, but I get very aggravated at them at the same time, very quickly. Right? I enjoy playing, but yeah.
What's his fucking
I think that's
special
any
move?
fight.
It's been ages. Oh, hang on.
Like any game you like,
Okay.
you're gonna get.
Yeah. Welcome, Breezy. What's up, man?
Yeah, boy.
So what?
Fellow AT alien, how you doing, bro?
He's a what?
What's up?
He's an AT alien like me. We were born in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I mean, actually, I was actually born in North Carolina.
Oh, traitor. You're a Charlotte man? No. But welcome.
It doesn't look too
so
bad.
like what?
Yeah,
Like
go
what
ahead.
future guest characters? If y'all could, or no?
What'd you say?
Would y'all want future guest characters like that would fit MK? If you could, like.
Only if
If you
you're not
can.
taking
Or a bird.
only if you're not taking away from the MK characters themselves. And my example of that is we got MK1 and Sonya Blade, Kano and Jax are on the bitch bench.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
That's insulting. That's not a Mortal Kombat. To me, it's kind of not a Mortal Kombat game with those three characters. Without those three characters, you might as well take out Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Oh, while you're at it, take out Liu Kang.
Oh.
So as long as the staples are.
Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go.
Give us Mortal Kombat. So that's the cheesecake, right? Give us the whole cheesecake, and it's rich and it's nice and it's got a good crust and it's just fucking amazing. And then if you want to give us some sprinkles or whatever on the side, then that's fine.
Mm.
So like, what if they said, okay, it's this guest character, or you have to choose between Devourer? What would you take?
Ugh. You put me in a corner.
Man, fuck you, dude. Right, seriously, like, that's just too hard. Man, come on.
That's hard. Dude,
Alright.
I'm in the minority again. I'm a Garrus guy. I love playing Garrus. People do not like Garrus, so I would rather have Garrus than a guest character.
Yeah,
Now
fuck-
Deborah,
yeah,
I
fuck-
don't know, man. I don't know about Deborah.
Fuck Garrus, man. Fucking character.
Dude, Garrus is the perfect character because he's a fixed point in time. It's something different. It's something unique. True, he can freeze you and then butt hump you like a couple of times. I don't like that very much, but you know, in part of the combo of his combo. But at least he's something unique and that stands out from everybody else.
I think I remember Fate saying you didn't like Aaron Black because he had guns, or he was a cowboy.
Yeah. The cowboy thing just throws me, especially considering he's supposed to be from, like why would they have a cowboy in the Outworld, right? Like it doesn't make any sense. And yeah, the gun system. Like I know we got guns with Striker and Ultimate, right? But it doesn't bother me as much because it feels more like a special move, in the sense of like its speed. It doesn't. I can't explain it. It just doesn't bother me as much. But when Jax came in with his machine gun, like in the 3D era, it was a lot harder to avoid, you know. And he fucking did that. Oh yeah. Do you remember that when he'd shoot it? You go, oh yeah. You know, it's fucking funny. But I don't know, man. I just prefer like, you know, sorcery and magic and
Makes sense.
than weapons and guns and stuff, you know, like that sort of thing. So.
If you're gonna do gunplay, let's not have the gunners the ability to just spam it over and over like Deadshot and Injustice, right? I get it, right? He fits it, but dude, that the stages were so big that if he got far enough away from you, GG's.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think they'd fix that in the next NRS game because a lot of people complain about how big the stages were, and it was one of the biggest points. And I think they would take that and make it smaller, make zoning less oppressive.
Right. Like Cetrion in MK11. There's another example. Yeah.
For some reason, I didn't run into her like that. Nobody played her like that. But I'm pretty sure she was stupid.
I got zoned to death, man.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but you know, each of us have our own experience, and that brings me back to, since each of us have our own experience, then that means fun is a spectrum, right? So, what some people don't like Injustice, I think it's a great, set of games. I'd like to see a third one. But the good part is we get to vote with our wallet.
Mm.
And next time, I'm not falling for what happened last time. Even though I said that the last time and the last time before that, I'm not pre-ordering the next MK game if they make another one.
I'm kind of a slave to MK, so I might do it. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
Like-
slave trying to break the chains.
Like I
I
don't.
want to break.
I don't mind if people pre-order. Like that doesn't bother me. Because people, it's gonna sell. Like either it's gonna sell or it's not, regardless. So.
I mean, now that I'm on PC, I can do a refund through Steam if I don't like the product.
Yeah.
Before on console, once you buy it, that's it.
Mm.
nah, you can do it on Xbox.
You can do it on, but can you do it on PlayStation?
Probably not. I'll never play
Yeah.
PlayStation.
I was on
Unless
PlayStation.
But
Yeah, I don't know if I don't want to fall into the trap again. I want an Injustice game instead because look what they
Definitely.
did to Mortal Kombat. And I'm worried that they might do the same thing to Injustice. That's the only thing that scares me, is that if they messed Mortal Kombat up this much, and they try and bring out an Injustice game, what if they screw that up and then we're disappointed on both fronts?
I mean, it's either that or get another MK game, have the same disappointment, or cause it'll take probably more years to get another Injustice because it's been like 8 some years since we had last had another one.
See,
So it's like,
Mortal Kombat. Like I'm very picky with Mortal Kombat because it's Mortal Kombat, right? So I'm always going to be like really hypersensitive and critical of MK, because it's it's my baby, right? But like I'm also very open to other like fighting games, and I don't get so picky. So I don't know what they screw up in Injustice, but I'd be
the thing that Injustice is like a tag system. And we've been complaining about the cameo system since day one.
yeah.
So if
But it
that
would
doesn't
fit.
don't do that ever again, then I don't know will.
It would fit in Injustice though, because remember, in the MK1 files, they were called sidekicks.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's true. Yeah.
But I think people still would complain. I mean, I probably would complain about it. I won't get
Well,
on.
it's in our nature, it seems like lately in today's climate. No matter what, it could be the best game in the world, people are going to complain.
Mm.
True.
Right, and
That's
look
how
at
it-
Black Myth Wukong, absolutely phenomenal game. If I know it's a difficult game and whatnot, but if you've never heard of Black Myth Wukong, what an amazing title,
Mm.
and yet they still complained about it, especially the reviewers like IGN, right? And they just find anything to complain about, right? And then people see the reviews and they're like, oh, it must not be that good of a game, and you can't spell ignorant without IGN. And
True.
these people follow. That's why I have a big, I don't mean to change subjects, but that's why I have a really big problem with these online influencers. I used to be a huge fan of all the MK YouTubers, like Maximilian and Super and Uncaged and True Underdog and all this, right? And don't beat me for that. I'm sorry. I learned now. I know better, right? It's just you get false information from these people. They hype it up, and then you get the product, and then you're not happy with it, and it's not what the influencers told you it was going to be, right? Because they won't tell you anything negative. They only say positive things when the game first comes out, because they want to get that pocket money. And then you go out and spend it as a consumer, and then you're not happy with it. And then when you complain about it, they tell you to shut up.
Mm.
I think it's just people get more time to play it, and then over time they're like, okay, now I see more of the issues. That's why they start complaining later on. Because everybody's hyped when they play a game day one. Everything's looks pretty, this and that. The honeymoon phase, really.
I
And
was-
later on down the line, they're like,
I was a huge Debbie Downer when MK came out, because like, and that's probably what pissed a lot of people off too, because I've been watching sort of Ed Boon sort of gimmick Mortal Kombat since he had full control since Deadly Alliance after John left, and so when I've been watching for like 22 odd years, you know, just seeing every MK game try and do some gimmick. When MK9 came out, it was like they finally listened. And they went, right,
Yep.
you know, we're not going to give you any gimmicks outside of like the new super move, the X-Ray. It's just going to be just a flat MK game. Let's have some fun, you know. And I think also then on it itself was why it was so popular, because it went back to basics to a degree. It gave it a fresh lick of paint, brought it back to basics, and it was just absolutely phenomenal, you know. And I'm just tired of the gimmicks. Like every other fighting game out there, yeah, they might do like Heat, they might do like the Drive Rush thing that they put in the Street Fighter, but you know, everything else is still legacy. Everything else is still, you know, the legacy of the game that they've been playing for like 20, 30 years. And we just want, as MK fans, I want that. I want my high punch back. Fuck your back punch 1, 2, 3, 4 button layout. I want high punch, high kick, low kick. I want back what we had, you know, originally, because, you know, why can't we have it? Why can't we have that anymore? That was something else that they also strip mined from what made classic MK great. And it's just frustrating, you know. It's just frustrating. So
Because we're old and grumpy, man. That's what it is.
We are old and
The
grumpy.
title of your video, we're the old heads, and I will honor that. I will take that label proudly. Yeah.
I hate what they did with Rain too. Like, they
They gave him a
and
stab.
they made, yeah.
I don't want to play as Gandalf. I want to play as Rain.
Yep.
Right?
Like, what was the best version of like certain characters in like the newer MKs that y'all like more? Like, cause I think they did like certain characters better in certain ones.
Oh yeah. I would say, well, which game? MK11 or MK1?
Like MK11, 9, 10 to 1. Like, which best version of Scorpion was in these games?
Oh man. I would say that I like MKX Scorpion.
Is it the demon, the minion?
Oh, I mean, he's just a beast.
Mm.
He's an asshole.
He's an asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, try playing against Arise. Fucking, just like, no, scare the crap out of you, Scorpion. Yeah, I like Scorpion, and what they did to him in MK11. Oh, you know, I mean, spoiler alert, they freaking killed the cool Scorpion.
Mm.
Right. And then MK1, he's not Scorpion anymore.
Yeah.
He's not Hanzo Asashi, so he's immediately eliminated from the list.
No, he's more boring.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, it's Kuai Liang, and that's supposed to be the second Sub-Zero.
Mm.
And Hanzo Asashi is gone, and it's like, well, Scorpion's dead to me then. He's dead. They killed him in MK11.
All right, which version of Sub-Zero did y'all like more? Probably ain't gonna go. I like Bihan.
You're not gonna like this. I like MK1 Bihan. I like MK1 Bihan.
I agree.
Why is that?
Because he's a son of a bitch.
He don't care
He
about
is an
nothing.
asshole. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. And that's what
Probably
Bihan
ain't-
is supposed to be, because Bihan is supposed to have a black heart, and that's why he turns into Noob Saibot.
Mm.
I mean, I wish he
Because-
listened sometimes, but overall, I do like them more.
Yep, it's like Bihan, since the very first Mortal Kombat, right? He's supposed to be a ruthless bastard,
Mm.
and his younger brother is supposed to be the good that balances out the evil.
Mm.
But when he dies, only Quan Chi brings him back as this dark, menacing, like, threat. And you needed somebody that was already dark to take that persona, and Bihan fit perfectly.
So, did you like this version of Noob?
Yes.
Yeah, he's not bad. Yeah.
I don't like the fact that he got beat up so quickly in the expansion, but yeah.
Mm. Yeah, he just
Like,
rolled
I
over.
wanna-
But we're looking at the same story where Reptile beats up Shao Kahn or General Shao. So, Shao.
Plot is all over.
Right. The Conqueror of Worlds is getting beat up by a scrub named Reptile.
Or Cassie beating up
Shinnok. Yeah.
Shinnok. Right. It's like, no, Shinnok destroyed realms. Right? Just because you've got green Ghostbuster slime on you doesn't make you strong enough to beat Shinnok, in my opinion.
I miss old Raiden. I'm sick of Delivery Boy Raiden. I'm sorry.
Me too.
Agree.
I just, there's nothing imposing about, there's nothing imposing about this Raiden. Just, there's nothing, even remotely scary about him. Even if he's on your side, you always felt like, even though Raiden was on your side, you knew you can't fuck with this guy. Right? You felt that through the way that he was portrayed, Now, he's just nothing.
Slit in the chat says, we need 7-foot Raiden back. You damn right. They chopped Raiden off at the knees, and they made him 5'5". If you look, Katana's taller than Raiden, by the way. Yeah. And I think if I looked at it right. So, and then he's just a sissy.
Yeah.
He's way more boring for sure.
Yeah.
I don't hate him, but I definitely like him.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I just wish that we had the old Raiden back.
And all his power comes from the stupid amulet. So it's like it's not even like his power. It's just it's power that's it's just, oh yeah, here you go. Here's your little disc.
Here's your participation trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna go to the Goro timeline, where the Great Kung Lao timeline.
Yes, that's what I wanted. I want the next Mortal Kombat, if they make one, should take place 500 years before the first tournament, before the tournament that we know.
Wasn't that how it was supposed to be set up by the end of MK11 Aftermath? Like when Liu Kang visited.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I thought we were gonna get, because I remember one of the trailers. I can't remember which trailer it was. I think it might have been the Sindel one or the General shit, like that one. There was this one part of the trailer where they're walking through the portal, and Ed Boon's specific, and we never got a fucking answer to this either, by the way. There's this one monk that he highlights in a picture on his Twitter page, and I'm like, that's interesting. And then when I examined the trailer, the video's on my channel fucking somewhere, I thought we were getting this really old, unique character that was in the comics called the character itself is called Siang, but it's actually two monks, two brothers that merge to become this super monk type character. And this was a character that was a character that was in the 95 comics that John Tobias did. And I'm looking at it, it's like, hang on a sec, what if this is what Ed Boon's highlighting, that we're getting this really secret, barely known character. I know, because I love those comics, and I got really excited about it, because I thought, man, that'd be fucking amazing having that character in it. Imagine having the Noob Smoke setup that they did in Deception, right? But you got Sin and Sang, and then you get their bar fills up, and then you can activate an ability, and boom, they just join and merge and become Siang. And he looks badass. Siang looks like a badass character.
When did you get this picture? Was it before MK1 release?
I think it was somewhere. I'll see if I can find the video on my YouTube.
We kind of got that in Injustice, where the Doc merged with Firestorm.
Yeah.
Right. That was awesome. Right. And and when we had Blue Beetle and him, fighting side by side. I just like Injustice a lot. Sorry for gushing. But
it's weird seeing that, man. MK players just hate Injustice. Goddamn.
Nah. I'm on the Injustice train as well, man.
I think there's a part of it because it's they've just generally just made Mortal Kombat games, right? And now they're doing something else. So it means that we have to endure this other fighting game before we can then get back to Mortal Kombat. That's my guess on it. So
Well, yeah, it's. I was gonna make a bad joke, but I'll just say that the MK players, they're addicted because we're addicted to it. I am. I'll proudly admit it. I am a fan of Mortal Kombat, and I have been since I was 12 years old.
Hmm.
I got a tattoo. I got statues. I got Kano's knife from the movie. Like I'm a collector when it comes to this stuff.
Hmm.
And I'll just tell you a quick story. Quick story. I would not know my wife and be married for 16 years if it wasn't for Mortal Kombat. Here's the quick rundown. I was playing in tournaments. The guy that beat me, I was second place. The guy that beat me, who won first place, me and him started to become friends and then training partners. And eventually he introduced me to my now brother-in-law. So if I had not met him at the tournament and he kicked my ass, I would have never met my wife.
See, you won by losing.
And now, all right. I'm. What'd you say?
I thought you was gonna say I dressed up as Scorpion, told her to get over here.
I should have. All right, that would have been cool.
Mortal Kombat
But
pickup
yeah,
lines.
Mortal Kombat has been a part of my life since I was I was the kid in class with the book, like the actual school book, in front of me, but underneath it I was writing down the moves and memorizing them in my head, and then I would throw the piece of paper away and write them down again. Right, I was doing that the whole time. Still made all A's and B's, but yeah. And how we got good back then is we would actually play each other while recording it on a VHS, and then we would go back and watch it.
Mm.
Yeah, that's some sweaty shit.
Yep.
It is, yeah.
But
Sounded fun.
I met so many great people from all over the U.S., and it was a great community. I miss that. I do.
I mean, now you gotta go to Evo to do it. Probably, I guess.
Or you got to be an internet sensation,
Mm.
right? You got to go listen to some twat talk down to you while hopefully you can talk to some other people in the chat and maybe hook up with them. Right? I don't mean to sound bitter, but I'm just tired of the attitude that I see from these people.
Mm.
Right? You made a video. What, Fate, 2 days ago, where you played some clips of some certain pros that are basically spitting in our face. And these are well-known people that people actually follow and subscribe to and link up with. And it's like, wait, don't you see the videos of these people basically telling you you're worthless and you need to shut the hell up?
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of that shit.
Well, it seems like the only time that some of this pro scene seems to get up in arms is when there's talks of like a PDF file, right? So it's like, yeah, that's when we'll start cracking up. We don't care if other people have been harassed or slandered or anything like that. The only metric that they seem to give a shit about, and that's fine. Like it's obviously you don't want PDF files around, but everything else under that is fair game. You can have people
they don't care.
with death threats. You can have people like openly lying. You can have this. You can have that. You can have people scamming. That's all fine.
Hey, Fate.
And that's a problem.
Hey, Fate, according to them, you're a racist, sexist, homophobic, Nazi, white supreme pizza, bad father, piece of shit that should never have a voice. And they've said those things directly to you and about you.
Yeah.
But nobody points that out. Nobody says, hey, that's inappropriate behavior. Do you have any receipts or evidence or anything about what you're saying?
Well, that's the interesting
And nobody
thing.
can.
So not too long ago, right? I was watching this stream that Brady was in, right? And he was talking about how people are trying to rewrite his history and blah 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 and attacking him and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, man, that's great. Where was your ass when other people were being attacked as well? That's right. You don't
All
care.
about self-interest.
None of these people actually care until they're they're the ones copying it, right? And it's like, I can't. These people are just untrustworthy because at the end of the day, their own selfish nature will kick in, that survival instinct to just look out for their own, at the betterment at the detriment of other people, So they can talk a big game, they can yell and scream or whatever, but the reality is though that these people only give a shit until something arrives on their doorstep, and then it's a problem, right?
Or
Then it's a problem.
Or
I remember one of these people, these individuals, saying that nobody would, like people won't come after you or any of that sort of stuff or whatever, and yet people get doxxed and people get attacked all the time, and then they cover these incidences where people get attacked or doxxed or whatever, and it's like, so again, it's all a front. It's all about what they want to show to the camera, so that way they can look a certain way. Typical narcissistic behavior, if you ask me. So.
well, yeah, unless it's their coworker. What I mean by that is it's somebody that they rub butts up with. I mean, I'm sorry, they shake hands with, and they make a pact of some kind, and then when they screw up, the other person remains completely silent. But if it's someone that they literally say, "Well, I don't like them, so I'm allowed to do this,"
Yeah.
then it's open warfare, and there's the hypocrisy, right? That's why a lot of people are getting tired of it, and I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
All right, if you're going to behave yourself and on the internet because you are a face of a product that's linked to it in some way, form, or fashion, because you have a following base, when you get on the mic, you better speak facts. Right? Don't make up bullshit by saying, well, this person is a far-right, Trump-loving, PDF file, online terrorist, right? But they have no, but then all the people that listen to them, right? They are like, oh my God, that person is that? They never provide any receipts, right? They never prove anything, and they follow Hitler. I mean, yes, I'm going to use that word very loudly. They follow Hitler's plan, and his plan was, we're going to tell a lie over and over until it becomes the truth.
What was it? He just hated people with blue eyes, right?
Hitler believed that that his race was the most dominant on the planet, and he believed that the Jews were these evil blah 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 blahs, right? And whatever, and Hitler did some really really bad shit. But one of his campaigns was simple: tell a lie, and if people don't believe it, guess what? If you keep repeating it, eventually they will believe it.
So just to get off the Hitler train. So
right. Well, tomorrow's his birthday.
Oh, okay.
It's also 420. So fired up.
Fire it up.
Yeah, man.
So this is the video I did. The title of my video is "No Way I Know Who the New Fighter Is in MK1 Think Twins." Obviously, it didn't end up being that way. So fuck whoever it was. But this is the character here. This is Sai Yang. So you can see here. You can even see the old comic books. The comic book images of the two monk brothers, and then when they join together, they create this super, almost like a super character, which is like really cool. And I thought, because when you go back to this trailer, right, when they were walking through the portal here, this was one of the things that Ed Boon had pointed out. He'd highlighted this character coming in the back. Let's see if I can play it a little bit more forward. Maybe, yeah, kind of like in the back here. He kind of highlighted. He's like, "Who's that?" And he never fucking answered it. Fucking dipshit. He never answered it. It's like, that's great, mate. Like, I mean, he's a fucking troll.
Sorry to bring this back up, but I just realized something. Tomorrow's Easter.
Well, it's Easter now for me, actually.
Well, Easter trumps everything else. So screw 420 Day and screw Hitler Day, right? Well, bye-bye. Anyway, sing and sang.
Yeah. And again, like another one of those old characters from that comic series was Hydro, who was part of the Lin Kuei, another cryomancer type ninja, which again has shown up in Mugen games. This is another thing I do like about Mugen games, is that they've actually taken some of these characters You know, like some of the floating priests in the background of the tower at MK2. You know, and they've made them playable characters. You know, which is like really, really awesome. And we don't get that level of sort of like ingenuity and creativity anymore with the team. Everything kind of just feels like this just run of the mill slop. There doesn't seem to be any sort of excitement really about stuff. You know, like I don't know, like I didn't mind Reptile, you know, because they kind of like humanized him a bit. But then at the same time, I also missed the old Reptile where he was just this like, you know, ruthless like assassin by Shang Tsung, you know. So
I mean, I didn't care for the lizard Reptile. I've never cared for that.
yeah, I prefer the human look.
Yeah.
I think the reason they don't make the roster as like big as like trilogies and things like that is because balancing. It'll take a lot of because a lot of people compete for it, and not even just that. It's just I think it would just be either repeated like assets for most characters, repeated movesets. That's my theory on it. That's why these rosters, like these fighting games, don't have that big of a roster like like a game like Spark and Zero or something.
Yeah. Grand Blue. Fate was showing me some Grand Blue, and those characters look like they have a good amount of moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about Grand Blue.
You know, it's fairly like easy to pick up, you know, in terms of like, you know, the moves and stuff. But just like, you know, in Injustice, every character has like some sort of unique thing about them. You know, like for my main character Percival, you know, he can activate an ability which gives him like different, like a certain number of pips of fire, and that enhances his special moves, so it'll make them more damaging or maybe have more pushback or whatever. You know, when he uses that particular ability, you know, so yeah, it's pretty. I think I still argue it's probably the best fighter in the last couple of years in terms of like a complete whole package. It's pretty great from front to back. So
It's better than Street Fighter.
yes, 100%, easily for me. Yeah, easily. Yeah.
I can't
Fighting-
speak.
Like I'm still a big fan. If you want the honest truth, I'm still a massive fan of Ultra Street Fighter 4. Like above Street Fighter 5 and 6. You know, so if you put all three in a
Same.
room, I'd be like, yep, Ultra Street Fighter 4 every fucking time. Every time.
Yep.
To me, it's like
Why is that?
I get my trilogy / Armageddon vibes with Ultra. It feels like we got just every character that I'd want in there. You know, we got Fei Long in there, we got T-Hawk, we got Evil Ryu's in there, and I'm just can't think of the top of my head what else is in there. I think we got what was the chick? You know, Jun and Jury from Alpha. There was like, you know, because they're part of like I think the group that Cammy was a part of, wasn't they? Like that type of assassin type or whatever. What's her name? It starts with a D. I can't think of it off the top of my head. She reminds me of like a Cammy, but if it was like a dark version, you know, like a evil version, I don't know. So she was in there. She reminded me of the old, those two female characters from Alpha 3. Trying to think who was else in there. Poison's in there as like the alternative goth chick, female. Don't be slandering that woman by saying she's got a penis. All right, she's a female. Okay, so I'm just because that's always been a thing, you know.
I don't know.
Cause,
So it's just a
yeah, the roster just feels really good. It was really stylish, you know. I like the super abilities and things like that. I thought that was just I don't know. It was great. It was such a great game. You know, it just really was.
What if Six
So,
had characters?
sorry.
What if Six had those characters? Like eventually had those characters.
So
Would
I
you
don't
then-
I don't dislike. So all right. So let me clarify. I don't dislike 6, but I just haven't found the hook for it yet. So like I you know, because the roster when it released was pretty anorexic compared to other fighters on release. Like it was very small, very very small. You know, and then they've already got 2 guest characters or at least crossover characters in there with Terry and Mai. So I'm like, yeah. I think Street Fighter 6 will probably be better, maybe in a couple of years. For me, because by that time, you know, the roster will be bigger and bigger. Hopefully there'll be like more fan favorites will have come back. I did like Street Fighter V's roster. I didn't think that was too bad. Especially at the end there, like, what was that chick from that other Capcom game that they put in there? What was her name again? Which one?
You talking about Six's DLC?
No, in 5. In 5, there was a character that they added in near the end of the life cycle. It was a female, but she was from I don't know, was she from, like, another Capcom fighter? Was it Rival Schools? Was it Rival Schools? I don't know. But yeah, no, Fires wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. And they definitely got a lot of goodwill back. You know, they clawed their way back with 5, you know, from release onwards. So. But yeah, no, Ultra Street Fighter 4 just felt... And you can still play it online. You can load it up on Steam. Is it Akira? Akira? Is that how you say it? Akira? That makes me want to say Akira.
Akira? Akira?
Yeah, Akira. Yeah, that's how it's... Yeah, her. Yeah, no, she was really good. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like Street Fighter 6 as a package presentation looks great. It's real slick. The music sounds really good in the menus. The graphics are really nice. The walkout before the fight is really great. World Tour is really great. But I think the thing for me is the roster. I just haven't looked at the roster and go, yep. Now I feel like there's enough there that I can sink my teeth into. So.
And hopefully they release the DLCs a lot sooner than they do. It takes way too long.
I agree. It's taken too long. It shouldn't take too long. You know, like.
If that was MK, people would have cried their ass off. Oh, hurry the fuck up.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah. 100. No, I fucking agree, man. I don't want to wait that long. I don't want to wait that long. I'm sort of partial to the idea of them just, you know, like releasing all the characters in the season straight away. You know, rather than drip feed. You know. So.
But then people complain about content. That's why they do it. Like, it always gives you something to look forward to if there's like another character and stuff.
Yeah.
So I get why they do it.
Yeah.
If you get all the characters day one, people are like, oh, there's no more content. Where's the next character? This and that. So they're like, okay, we're just gonna release one at a time.
Yeah.
Get people more engaged in the game, keep them engaged. Because I kind of agree with it, but at the same time, I can see why other people don't.
Yeah. What did you think of Clive being added to Tekken?
I don't play Tekken. I stopped playing it once I realized, like the heat system, I just never liked.
Yep.
So I just stopped playing it.
Okay.
Like I stopped playing it when Eddie Gordo came out. I saw like he had this string that you could just keep spamming.
Yep.
And I was like, ugh. Like why play this when I could go back and play my favorite fighting game, MK, or
Yep.
Like I'd rather play those games. Tekken, I think Tekken's okay. It's not like people complain about the 50-50s, the mix-ups and stuff. And I'm saying as an MK player, we've been dealing with that for years, so it's not really new. It's just, I don't know. Like at that time, that's when MK was releasing like Peacemaker, Quan Chi. I was like, my interest was more in that.
Yep.
But I know a lot of people don't like Clive because he's like a Final Fantasy character. He doesn't fit the theme of Tekken, which I kind of agree with.
I think
say, like,
they should have put Tifa because they needed a fisticuffs character rather than a sword wielding character. That's what would have been better, and it would have fucking sold bucket loads. Like that would have been a huge win. So.
What do you say, Tifa?
Yeah, Tifa. Yeah, if they were gonna choose a Final Fantasy character, Tifa would have been the best one. She's a hot looking character. She's also a martial art type character, so that would have made more sense, you know, than Clive. But obviously they had this deal in place, you know. Probably since, you know, before the release, maybe give or take, I don't know, or just after Final Fantasy 16. So, yeah.
In the chat, I might give a couple of people a seizure saying this. Trigger warning incoming. I'll take an Injustice game over a Tekken game any day.
Well, only people that get upset about Tekken players, like, and the rest of players, like, yeah, hell yeah. I think so. I would hope so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, just like taking the game and side by side and separating the people from it. Like if you tell me, hey, here's Tekken 7 or 8, and here's Injustice 2. I'll take Injustice 2 over those two games.
You ain't gonna have no argument from me. Tekken, it's 3D game. You know what I'm saying? I'm more used to 2D, so I'm just not ever gonna choose a 3D.
Yeah.
Even though Mike Hollow was saying, "Ooh, I want MK to return to 3D," and everybody was like, "No." Even the pros were like, "No."
Yeah.
No. He's like,
Yeah, we that opinion is absolutely disregarded.
Yep.
I mean, I
On
like
multiple levels.
I mean, I grew up with Deception. It's just, would I ever want it again? No.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, it kind of feels like MK, just like either each sort of like, sort of generational game. It just kind of feels like they keep experimenting, and it's like this is just to return to basics, like Virtual Fighter coming out. I think I am hoping anyway that Virtual Fighter will shake up the community in a way to say, listen, you don't need the gimmicks. You don't need all this flash. You can have a very solid, grounded fighter game within your own universe that people will love, because otherwise there's just too much. Like, there's too much noise, too much crap. If they took Heat out tomorrow out of Tekken 8, like, I don't mind Heat. Like, as a just a normie of fan of Tekken, I don't mind Heat, but like I wouldn't miss it either.
Yeah.
So, like it's kind of like it's like, yeah, I can eat it or not. It's it's like it's fast food, right? I like the drive system more in Street Fighter than I do Heat. I think the drive system, at least again from my casual perspective, felt like it was they did a lot more, like it was maybe better integrated or better thought out as a system than Heat was. But again, that's just casual perspective.
Yeah.
So
I don't hear as many people cry about the drive system.
no,
Like that.
I didn't even know if I've heard anyone cry about it in my own experience. I don't think I've heard.
Few people.
What
it's
I
not
do
as, like-
what I do hear is the throw loops. I hear that. So
Yeah. Definitely.
but
Like, I hear about it here. It's just not as prevalent as like the Heat engagers and stuff.
yeah.
Because Tekken has this new game they never had to deal with. They're basically having the era we grew up with, where MK became this 50-50 machine. Now they
Yeah.
have to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eat that.
Yeah. Eat those shit. Yeah. Slit said in the chat, he goes, I prefer if they get rid of Heat, Rage Arts, etc. Maybe go back to a Tekken 5 DR like style. Yeah, I played a ton when I had my PS3. I played a ton of Tekken 5 DR online. It was great. In fact, you can still like just like whisper here. You can still, through certain means, play it. So I'll just leave it there, right? So if you were a fan of these older games, especially older Tekken games, or any of those games in general, there are ways and means to be able to enjoy these games online, And what's funny, because I see this, because somebody mentioned Tekken Tag Tournament. So in Tekken Tag Tournament, again, I'm a casual, right? So I look at Tekken Tag Tournament, and my first thought is like, this is like the Armageddon of Tekken. We got every fucking Tekken character in here. This is great. But you see a lot of the Tekken community, it's fucking shit, it nearly killed, blah, 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 whatever. But I think it was awesome. Because they had all the characters, and it was just fun. Like, it was just crazy, like, balls to the wall fun, right? Which, as far as, like, an entertainment product goes, that's a win for me, right? But it seems that the pro side are like, nah, it was shit, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well.
You know what I think people hate tag for? It's because it's like, probably like MK1's tag, it's always been a 1v1 fighter, then they just out of nowhere made it a tag.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, hell no. I want it back to the classics.
Yeah.
So
I don't even use my cameo. Unless, I just don't even play with the cameo. I might accidentally push the button every now. I just don't want to play with it.
Yeah.
If that puts me in a handicap, then so be it.
Slit also said in Tekken Tag 2 you could play either tag or single, and that's true. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you weren't locked in. In regards to that, you could either play in tag or single, and that's, I think you were saying earlier, dude, about you know, like they should have had a single player. You know, I think if you had no cameo mode in MK1, it would have been so much better. And if they did have an MK1 mode, what they should do is look at every single character on the roster and go, right, is this character viable for single player use without a cameo as an assist? For example, I would pull the moves that Kung Lao lost from his main that they put on the cameo. I would pull, if you went into single player, those moves like migrate back to Kung Lao, you know. And I actually would play more MK1 if they did that, because people, again, like people just want that you know, they want that 1v1 mode, you know, unless it's like 2XKO where it's a proper tag game, like built from the ground up as a two-player, or sorry, not a tag, like a two-player type experience. Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to figure out how with the cameo system, if they removed it, like if it's, let's say you do like a fatal bug,
Yep.
is it going to be one universal cameo? Because I don't know if they can completely remove it, but they can make it to where it's not like ingrained to your gameplay. So like if you did fatal blow, there's like a universal cameo,
Yep.
and I don't know how that would work specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either. I'm gonna just see if I can share something on the screen in a second. Hopefully it all loads up. Hang on. Just mute that because that's kind of loud. Where is it? There we are. All right. So hang on and put that over there. So, there we go. So now, right now on the screen, and you could click on the stream too, dude, if you want, like within the Discord if you want to see it. But now we have Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection online right now, for everyone to look at in the stream. So, and that was a really good roster too. I actually thought, like, even though it wasn't a Tekken Tag roster, the Tekken Tag 2 roster, like it was still pretty good. Plus, it also had one of my favorite characters in it, Baekdu-san, right, which I miss. You know, I mean, I'm a Hwarang main, sorry, always get it fucked up. But like, yeah, I definitely like, you know, miss having Baekdu-san because he's the original OG Taekwondo guy. So.
You said you could play this online, like on Fightcade, huh?
So yeah, so the older game, obviously not the 3D. Well, I don't think you can. On Fightcade, yeah, you can play like pretty much all the old arcade games or anything like 2D or emulated. But they don't have. Why am I on this side? Ew, that's awful. That's I'm not doing that shit. Yeah, you can play all those. If you wanted to play PS3 games online, there I can't say it publicly, but there are ways to actually do it. So, but yeah, it's why am I on this horrible site? I want to be on this horrible site. That's awful. Yeah, so yeah, 5K's great. Yeah, I think earlier when the stream when we were showcasing it, King of Fighters 2002 got up to 800 people in their lobby. That's fucking crazy, dude. Right? That is just psychotic.
I think, if I remember correctly, the statistics of gamers, 60% of gamers are actually playing games that are 10 years or older.
Why am I on 2-player? Oh, really?
Probably Fortnite or
Yep.
something. Probably those type of games. It's not like the classic games, I don't think.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking 2014. So, 2011 was such a great a great year for gaming. We got Mortal Kombat 9, we got Skyrim. There's a whole list of games that came out that year, just home runs.
Yeah.
Metal Gear.
Yep.
People didn't like Revenge. I don't know why. That was alright.
Revengeance?
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah. I actually grabbed that for $3 on CD keys. I'm looking forward to playing it.
Oh, you never played it before?
Nope. Never played a Metal Solid game before.
Wait, none of them? Never played a Metal
None.
Gear?
No, I know, right?
And technically that one's like a side one too, so it's not even like the main series. So
There's a lot of genres of games that I missed out on, and I'm going back to them now. Right? I'm gonna be trying a bunch of different games.
Yeah, because my first iteration of Metal Gear was Phantom Pain. It was my favorite out of this. I never played the old school ones, but Phantom Pain was like still to this day my favorite. Like,
I got smoked already. Have I only got one? Oh no, I was gonna say.
How old is this game, Fate?
Oh, I'm not sure. When did Dark Resurrection come out?
2005 or some shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said you could play. It looks like you gotta do a lot of work to do it to play online, and I think a lot of people don't want to do all that.
No, it's not. It's not a lot of work at all.
It's only like PC.
Yep. This is running emulated on PC. Yeah, no, it's actually not too difficult because basically once you've got your proper game, let's just say that, you just simply right-click on it and then you set up the networking, and the emulator itself actually has its own what do you call it? Its own network. They've created their own network, for their emulator, right? So if there's other people playing online, then yeah, I can't remember. Hang on, let me just check something. Actually, let me just hang on. Wait, I'll just close my screen for a second, just so I don't get in trouble. I think I've already set this one up actually to play online. Let me just double check. So, online battle. Yes.
Now this guy right here.
Yes.
This guy told me about PC gaming. Like, I'm still new. So I sold every PlayStation that I owned and got a computer with the money.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I'm glad I did it.
I heard a lot of people say that. Like, PC is just, you ain't got to pay for multiplayer no more, which is huge.
Yeah, there's no $80 a year for a subscription.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah. And that's the base subscription.
So right now, yeah, I have set up this one to play online. So we are now watching, like it's kind of, I think they're based in Brazil perhaps. So it's kind of bad lag, but we are watching two people playing Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection online right now on the PS3 emulator.
Real time?
In real time. Yep, right now. I joined a room, so I'm just waiting for my turn so I can get my ass whooped. But yeah. And it looks
There's
great.
a lot of people on.
No, there was only one room. Obviously, because it's simulation, you're going to get a smaller population. But because of like all the Fallout and stuff with Tekken, people have been looking at the older games, going, "How do we play them? How do we play them?" You know. Actually, let me check. Let me just quickly check the population for Tekken 7 because Tekken 7's really solid. Tekken 7's really good.
So, like, when you load it up, you may only see, like, one or two rooms, but there's always one or two rooms. There may not be a whole list of people, but you're going to get a match. Like, there's no sitting around for minutes waiting for a match on most of these that I've tried anyways.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
There's
Like, it's fun matches because it's an old game and you got to go out of your way to, like, set it up and everything. But with, like, newer games, it's just load up game, see online, go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Convenience.
This is where like the Tekken team, like they should be like adding all these older games to the Tekken Lounge somewhere in Tekken 8. You know, it incentivizes people to buy Tekken 8, right? So it's an instant win. It also incentivizes people like to play these older games. So if they don't want to play the newer one, they can just go in the lounge. They can load up, you know, say this, you know, get online and play their friends, you know, in lobbies or whatever. Right, so that way they're still locked into the Tekken universe. They're still inside the Tekken universe, you know, and they get to enjoy these older ones as well. It's just like this is where Capcom is really leading the way with their collections. They're just killing it. They're absolutely fucking killing it. You know, it's actually going to be sad when they run out of stuff that they can put out in collections because they're. I think the next one that they should do would probably be the EX series,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, I loved like my favorite of that is still Street Fighter EX plus Alpha.
Yep.
Number 2 was all right. Number 3 was strange, but the first game was really unique. You know.
I bet you played as Skullomania.
No, I still played Ryu, but
Oh, okay.
they've got that on Steam, right? So they've actually I'm just trying to remember the name of it. So on Steam, oh, I think it's my go. Right, hang on, let me do this match first. Press start. There we go. There's a game on Steam that has all of those EX characters in it exclusively, right? Let me just find the name of it.
I think it's Fighting X Layer.
That's it. Yeah,
that's the one.
Fighting X Layer. Yep. And and that has like I think it has almost all of those characters that were in the EX series. So yeah, in the Akira Street Fighter series, which is amazing.
It's fun. You can play as Cracker Jack or Skullomania or any of those older characters.
Fucking Cracker Jack.
Doc.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, he had a baseball bat, right?
Yeah. Oh,
and then the Doc, he had the little bombs that he threw on the floor and the whip, right?
I liked him because
he was
like a Scorpion character, right? Like he'd get you with that. So
yeah. Well, gentlemen, this old man has to go to bed.
that's all right. I'll do this match and then I'll roll out. So before you run off, you Puff, do you have anything like you want to pimp out, like social media, YouTube channel, anything of the sort?
I mean, just stay on your milk. That's the picture.
Yep. Right. Stay in your milk. I love it.
Yep.
That's fucking great, man. Well, thanks for coming on, dude. It was a pleasure meeting you. It was awesome. It was great.
Yeah, I've had a good time.
See ya.
Hope you can join us again. I've had a good time. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
More Injustice 3 for the future. Like, let's get that rolling.
Agreed. We'll start a protest.
Start a protest.
All right, GG's.
All right, man.
GG's,
Catch
man.
you later.
Have a good night. Thank you.
I'm hopefully. Oh, hang on. Oh, I fucking beat him! Yay! First online match on a PS3 in maybe 10 years. Met his fate. That's it.
Nice.
That's it. All right, so let's I'll close that and we'll roll out. So I want to thank everyone for joining the stream. That was a lot of fun. That was great insight as well. So that was very cool. And is there anything you want to say before we finalize?
Sure. Be honest. Stay true to yourself. Don't lie to make people feel better.
Yep.
And happy Easter. I hope everyone has a great Sunday. And even for those that are not religious, I love you too. And I hope you all have a great night.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for tuning in. That was a lot of fun. And I'll catch you in the next videos aggravating other people further. So catch you next time.